So before we get into this video, I wanted to come on here and ask everyone to please not send hate to anybody involved in this video, and please do not send any hate to any brand involved in this video. This video is nothing more than myself clearing my name, number one, because what you guys don't know is there has been a lot of accusations that have been thrown around behind the scenes by the person that we used to be friends with. A lot of channels have been contacted, including Peter Mon as well as Rich Lux, but I will get into that more later in this video. There's actually something as I was looking through my screenshots to discuss everything that I forgot to mention in this video, and that's the fact that on August 28th of 2023, I received a text message from my mom's best friend, and she said that my mom's dog had passed over the Rainbow Bridge. You guys know that my mom passed away from COVID in 2021. So before she went into the hospital, she called up her friend and said, hey, can you please look after my dog? And I guess that when she was in the hospital and she thought that something was going to happen to her, she asked her, like, can you please look after him after I pass away? Well, when I received the message on August 28th from my mom's friend, I texted her back immediately and said, like, can you please get him cremated? I will pay for it. Can you ship him to me, please? Because I really want to put some of his ashes with my mom's ashes. And this had been something that I had planned to do ever since my mom passed away, because that was honestly like my mom's best friend. She took that dog everywhere with her. She loved that dog. I let my ex-friend know at that time, like, hey, I just received a text message from my mom's friend, and she said that her dog passed away and he crossed over the Rainbow Bridge, and I asked her to cremate him and that she was going to ship him to me. Well, on September 20th, after Dustin and I left the house, my mom's dog's ashes were delivered to the mailbox. Our ex-friend had already known verbally, but also over text message, these ashes were going to be coming. She actually shipped us a big box of mail as well as these Google Homes that she asked us to leave. I can only imagine she was asking us to leave them because she would get some kind of like video evidence off of it. Well, in this box, you guys will be surprised to know that the dog's ashes were not in there. And I asked the employee, I said, hey, has she said anything about the ashes to you? Is she going to give them to you? Like, what is going on? And the employee said that they haven't heard anything about them. So it is now December. What day is it? December 20th, literally December 20th, and I still have not received the ashes of my mom's dog. I don't care what you think about me, if you hate me, the fact that you are going to hold on or probably throw away, let's be completely honest, they're probably at the bottom of a landfill right now. The fact that you would do something to a pet's ashes, especially after the fact that my mom's two cats passed away in the house fire that happened in August of 2022, it's despicable. And in my opinion, you are the low of the low, bottom of the barrel. I literally have to lose my mom's cats in a house fire, the last living thing that I had of my mom's. I had to lose them, and now you're going to do something to the ashes of my mom's dog that I was going to place with her ashes? Let's just get into the video.
So you live with, for people who don't know, Dustin Daly and Nick Schneider.
Correct. So Nick's mom passed in 2021, and he was really having a hard time. After they sold her house, they had come for Thanksgiving. I cooked them Thanksgiving dinner. They liked Texas, and I was like, if you guys are going to move here, just come stay here until you buy a place or
figure it out.
Whatever.
Yeah.
One good thing that emerged from this drama is that so many people burned by Nick Schneider. Dusty and Paige came together. Project Shading It will debut soon. It will be an amazingly well documented on the media presence about his lies, misdeeds, cover-ups, backstab, T-wife or invite.
Friend, it's your boyfriend. Your boyfriend's reaching out to drama channels. Who does that? I would understand Nick and Dustin reaching out because all their friends are drama channels, but your boyfriend that you told me was a CEO, that you told me was wearing an ankle bracelet. And I know you're not going to allow that man to call you a liar, because him saying that you never told me that is calling you a liar.
She continues to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig in court and won't let it go because she's hoping that in the end she wins and you can't be on YouTube anymore. And that's the only reason why she continues.
And I'm just saying, guys, she called the boys moochers, and that's one thing the boys weren't.
Were not. The boys were
Did
not.
So much for her.
If anything, guys, they got her like where she's probably at right now. Like, if it
Packing
wasn't
her
for
stuff, like helping her out.
It makes me very, very sad for all of them, in all honesty, but it makes me sad for her specifically because I think she had some really, really dear friends that really cared a lot about her.
Ginger Ad's boyfriend is not happy and he is suing. He sent me an email with a cease and desist letter, receipts I guess you could say, screenshots and more.
My last conversation with you, Jen, I tried to talk to you. I was trying to talk to you. I was trying to have a conversation with you, and you kept trying to tell me that you smelled like meth in the room and this and that, and I was just wanting to talk to my friend.
Her whole goal is to make it so that you can't earn a living online anymore. That's her whole goal. He'll be lucky if you'll ever be able to show his face on YouTube again. That's how she goes. That's what she wants.
Jenny, we were way past that. You got online and tried to say a lot of like. Let's not raise our voice.
It sounds all crazy. She was everything. She would have her phone on speakerphone, and I remember saying, "I don't want you alone, man. What if they drug you?"
You guys, it's been a night. Seriously, Dustin Daly saved my life, and I'm not going to try to get emotional on here, but he takes a lot of crap. He's a pretty good guy, because me and this guy wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Honestly, we literally lost everything.
It really hurt me to see that these are two people that you guys all loved each other, and you were trying to convince me that Nick does meth. Like, I would never tell anybody that. Everything that we have talked about has stayed between you and I. I pulled away because I feel like that's just the best thing for me right now.
Alongside that, I also asked if the photograph of my passed away auntie would also be removed from promotional material on their websites, as well as websites like Amazon and wherever else it is that they are choosing to distribute the product. This was not my request. This was my mother's request.
September 23rd, 2023, 12:48 p.m. Termination of relationship. I'm writing to request to have my images removed from the Gerard Cosmetics website, as well as any promotional materials. I would also like to have my affiliate code Dustin discontinued. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Dustin, if you wanted your images taken off the website, all you had to do was ask. Without being asked, I did remove your side-by-side images yesterday or the day before, and asked Taylor to make new graphics removing the photos from the banners. Now that someone has sent me your tweet, I reached out to her and found out that she has not changed them yet. I hid the images for the time being since this is upsetting to you. Since you also made it clear where you stand, I deleted your discount codes. Since I'm being accused of doing everything wrong, I didn't want it said that I wouldn't allow you to make money to pay me back, and I did not turn them off until about 15 minutes ago. Once again, all you had to do was ask. Hope this helps.
Just having a really hard time understanding why my photos are still here. This photo on the right, you can see it's clearly my yellow hair, and this was a picture that I took when I lived in Lake Mary, Florida with Nick when we were handling his mom's business and estate. So, don't really understand why this is still here.
Dustin hadn't come and gotten us, we wouldn't have made it. You know, it's like one thing after another, but at some point so you got to keep your sense of humor about stuff. It's what it is.
Well, I'm sure that's really bonded the three of you.
Jennifer knows this, so I already know how Jennifer is. After this, she's gonna, they're all lying on me. Everybody's not lying on Jennifer.
But let me tell you something while I have you on the phone. You know what triggered me the most? Was the night that you kept saying you wanted to hurt yourself. You told me you were feeling like you wanted to kill yourself, and you told Paige that, and then the next day you told me you just said that to get the heat off of you. That hurt me so bad because I've been to that place.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about something that honestly myself, Dustin, and a few other people have tried to keep offline for as long as possible. You might have noticed that in September, there was like a major falling out between myself, Dustin, a few other people, and our ex-friend, Jen Gerard. It's the only time I'm going to say her name in this video because honestly, it's what she wants. She's been trying to like push behind the scenes. Gonna get into that in a minute, but she's been trying to push behind the scenes so that we will come out and we will make videos. Now, this went down in September. We're in December. This could have been aired out back in October if we really wanted to come online and drag an ex-friendship. That's not what this is at all. In my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion as well, this person is behind the scenes trying to push myself, Dustin, Paige, and a few other people to make videos so that they can try to accuse us of being the reason that their brand is actually failing. I'm here to let you guys know that that is not true at all. This person has literally told myself, Dustin, literally anyone that she has come into contact with since at least 2018, because that's when I met her, that she has not paid herself a salary in years. And just typing in paid myself salary into my iMessage, one comes up from 1/25/2021 where she's talking about a house that she was going to list in 2 weeks, and she did not know if she was going to be able to buy another one because she has not paid herself a salary. The other day on my community page, as well as over on Twitter and Instagram, I posted a public apology to Jaclyn Hill, and there were some people that were underneath it that were like a little bit confused as to what I was referring to in that. Some of y'all thought that I was literally giving Jaclyn Hill a pass for anything that she's been involved in. I want to clear this up. That is not the case at all. I still think that Jaclyn Hill is an extremely shady, problematic person. I think that Jaclyn Hill is a liar, and I definitely do not stand behind anything that Jaclyn Hill stands for on social media, the internet, or in any kind of business practice ever. In my post about Jaclyn Hill, I said that there was was somebody in my ear that was feeding me a lot of information about her, and I'm talking about all day, every day. You guys know that I recently discovered the Jaclyn Hill snark Reddit, and that was actually because of the person that I'm talking about in this video. It was honestly all day, every day, myself, Dustin, because he was in the thread as well. We had one called Jaclyn Hill that I also put into my post, and I wanted to clarify that for everyone out there. The reason that that was actually switched to Jaclyn Hill was because of the cozy situation, because Jaclyn Hill ripped off yet another small business owner, and this business owner that I'm talking about right now thought it was the most horrible thing. So yeah, we were all in a group chat called Jaclyn Hill, and we thought it was funny because yeah, in that situation, she literally ruined someone's brand. I know you guys all know that this person has a disdain for Jaclyn Hill. Anything that has to do with Jaclyn Hill, this person knows about. She has joked in the past about knowing her Jaclyn Hill trivia, but this goes beyond disliking someone and you make some snarky comments about them online or in private with your friends. This person spends all day, every day pretty much, while they are working out, while they are probably even sleeping. They have their like one eye open, like looking at the phone. They are on the snark Reddit, commenting back to people. They have numerous accounts over there. That is the truth out of her own mouth, numerous accounts over there so they can say mean things about Jaclyn Hill. I mean, it got to the point where she would send us text message saying that she posted our tweets or she posted our videos over on the snark Reddit, or if Jaclyn Hill would be able to guess which person that was leaving a negative comment about her on the snark Reddit was her. The reason that I'm even bringing this up at the beginning of the video is because immediately when there was a falling out with this brand owner, it turned into drama channels bad, drama channels are shit, don't believe anything that they say, which I find very comical as well as hypocritical, because this person literally is a Jaclyn Hill drama channel herself. She just does not post videos. But also the fact that the way that I met this person, as well as Dustin met this person and a lot of other people within the drama community, was back in 2018 when we were all having our own issues with a channel named Mango Tea. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mango Tea, but he had a huge issue with he posted some very exposing videos that honestly I did not watch up until October, which shame on me, bad drama channel if you want to fault me for that. I should have watched it and I should have formed my own opinion rather than just listening to this one person that was in my ear as well as in Dustin's ear about how horrible Mango Tea was. Well, Mango still has a video up on his channel where he's interviewing a lady named Letitia, and so much of what she is saying, this video is from 2018, is so spot on for what we're experiencing right now with this person. In the video, Letitia told Mango that would talk about him nonstop 24/7. She would basically know what he had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but also that she was going to do anything possible so that he was not able to earn a living on social media.
I'm under attack in a different way. She's coming from my job as a YouTuber, whose job is to report on the
She told me that, just so you know. Her whole goal is to make it so that you can't earn a living online anymore. That's her whole goal. You'll be lucky if you'll ever be able to show his face on YouTube again. That's how she talks. That's what she wants for you. And that's why she continues to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig in court and won't let it go, because she's hoping that in the end she wins and you can't be on YouTube anymore, and that's the only reason why she continues.
And honestly, the obsession with Mango Tea is something that is still going on. The disdain for him, I am assuming, has to be because she actually was in a lawsuit with him and she lost. But here's an example of her going out of her way to try to take a dig at somebody. When I was in LA with Dustin in 2019 and this brand owner was there as well, when we were on Hollywood Boulevard, she made sure that we walked down a little bit further than we normally would so that we could take a picture in front of the Scientology sign. Now, if you know anything about Mango Tea, then you know that he has actually had a lot of issues with Scientology, that he has like a whole channel dedicated to it. The reason that I bring the photo up is because it is the year of 2023 and the hate boner for Mango Tea is still going on. Earlier this year when Dustin and Paige were in LA with this brand owner, she made sure once again that they went down Hollywood Boulevard just to get the same photo in front of the Scientology sign. So to end this part about Mango Tea, I still don't like the dude. I can eat crow when I need to eat crow, and in this situation about the person that I'm talking about, he was completely right, and I think that everyone needs to go over to his channel and actually watch this video with Letitia, because it is very, very telling to a lot of the things that I'm about to get into in this video. Another reason I wanted to bring Mango Tea up at the beginning of this video is because it honestly shows a pattern of the person in question befriending whoever has an issue with the person that she's having an issue with as well. But also she just searches out content on the person that she's having issues with. I'll give you an example of Peter Mon, because did not like Peter because of an issue actually between Dustin and Mango Tea. She felt like Peter should have stood up for Dustin and like went after Mango as well and made a video. She seems to get very upset when people don't make videos. Like I have numerous text messages of sending something along the lines of Jaclyn and then saying someone needs to make a video. But I would say within the last few months of us being in Texas, this person actually started watching all of Peter Mon's videos because he was dragging Jaclyn Hill. Out of her own mouth, she said, all of a sudden I have this newfound love for Peter because he's talking about Jaclyn. And here's an example of a content creator that does not do drama videos, but they have made a video about Jaclyn Hill in the past. And I'm talking about Mallory Brooke. Now, Mallory Brooke is someone that I have sent a message to this brand owner before saying like, hey, are they on your affiliate program? Like, are they on the squad? Like, trying to hook that up for her because, again, she was telling us for the longest time that she has not paid herself a salary. So anything that we could do to try to help boost her sales, we were doing. I mean, even through all this like falling out that was going on, in every single video that I was posting during that time, I was shouting out the sale. There were even text messages between myself and the brand owner, like during all of this, that say, hey, when are you shutting off the sale because I want to put it in today's video? Well, after I posted my public apology to Jaclyn Hill, Mallory Brooke actually commented underneath it, and it says, and that friend that I even barely knew pressured me to do the same well after my video though. Jaclyn needs to be stopped, but the pressure from this in particular individual was insane. I can't imagine how you even were able to handle that kind of bullying, to be honest. I'm so sorry you had to go through that for years. Now, it's interesting about this comment from Mallory Brooke because I did reach out to her and I said like, hey, can I put that in my video that I'm going to be putting together? And she said yes. She actually told me, and I can confirm for all of you because it's the exact same way for Manny. You guys know that I have a dislike for Manny. It's no secret, but I could also offer the same public apology to him because it's the same thing with Jaclyn. It's like always in the ear. I can guarantee y'all, I am not searching out Manny and I'm not trying to learn anything that is going on with him. So I did not consent. Well, when I messaged Mallory Brooke, she said, yeah, of course you can use my comment, but she let me know that this person in question actually was trying to get her to do videos on Manny. She was trying to set up a FaceTime date with her so that they could talk about Manny and she could expose some more things about him. In my opinion, it's a little weird that a brand owner has so much time to try to like ruin other brand owners out here and talk so much shit about all these other brand owners when they really should be focusing on themselves and maybe revamping their own brand so people are excited in it, you know? You talk about Jaclyn Hill doing the bare minimum. At least she was putting together some like photo shoots. At least she was picking out some shades in the catalog about some new products that people were a little bit excited about. So now I need to give you guys a little bit of a backstory as to how we exactly got to where we are today and why the friendship is no more. In 2022, Dustin and I were invited out to Texas to actually live in the house with this brand owner because she was out there all alone. She asked us if we wanted to come stay because we were going to be looking for a house to purchase for ourselves after I sold my mom's house, which is exactly what the plan was until we got there and this brand owner started talking to us about building some kind of like compound where we would each have our own house. Then this is very important because this brand owner tried to tell everyone that I was very isolating to her during this entire friendship. I don't know what's more isolating than inviting people to move away from their whole entire lives basically into a house in Texas where they know nobody and then bring up wanting to build a compound with these people to the point where there's only one house. And you would get upset when I would say, no, I think that we're going to like want our own house. It was, well, why would we need that? Why would you want that? So I don't know, just in my opinion, that comes off as very isolating, not what I'm about to explain to you guys in this video. So that was in March of 2022. And as many of you know, we actually experienced a house fire at that address in August of 2022. And I just want to make this point real quick because there have been people because of this brand owner trying to say that we were like deadbeats. We weren't giving her any money. I quickly debunked that whole entire time that we were at that house before we were even on a lease with the person, which we entered into in October of 2022, that person had already received almost $13,000 from my Apple Pay alone. That's not counting cash. That's not counting in hand. So the fact that some of you out there would honestly believe that we were staying in this person's house for free and not paying for shit, and you just wanted to run with that because you don't like us, miss me. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is after that house fire, you know, the one that claimed the lives of my mom's 2 cats, that this person thinks that it's cute to like go on a podcast and talk about how they're so upset that these cats passed away. Let me tell you guys why, as somebody who lived through that situation, actually experienced it and spent time privately with this person after the fact. There is a story that she will go on to tell you about how after the house was on fire and we were taken out, which Dustin and I were no longer allowed inside, she snuck back in and went right past the door that the cats were in because here's the staircase, here's the door, and went upstairs to get her toothbrush and brush her teeth. So she had every moment that she could have grabbed those cats, but instead a toothbrush was more important to her in that situation because maybe the police officers or the fire department would think that she had bad breath at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock, whatever the time it was. So yeah, to everyone out there that thinks I'm a little mean when I bring up my cats, that's why. She literally makes a joke out of going up and getting her toothbrush when the cats were just a few steps away. And there's actually another lie that I would like to debunk right now in this video because after this house fire, obviously myself, Dustin, and the brand owner, we had to go and stay at Airbnbs. This brand owner would like to tell people that Dustin and I offered her nothing to try to help like offset the cost of it because it was a lot of money. Sometimes it was like $12,000 a month for those Airbnbs, like a lot. It was ridiculous. I don't even think that Airbnb is like allowed to operate in Dallas anymore, but we were told by the brand owner that we did not need to give her any cash when we offered because she was getting reimbursed from the insurance company. So it wouldn't make sense for us to start giving her money when she was receiving all this money back from the insurance company. Now, I will admit this, it was a little bit like pulling teeth with the insurance company a lot of the times, but she actually received about $90,000 just off jump, just from the insurance company immediately. So it is not that Dustin and I did not offer to pay her anything for this Airbnb. We were literally instructed not to because it wouldn't make sense with the insurance company reimbursing her. Just something else about the house fire real quick that I just thought of because I actually saw the file on my computer right here. This person would not have any of the video files of the inside of the house with this house fire if I did not risk myself to climb up these staircases that were literally falling apart. There were holes in the floor, things were falling through them. If I didn't risk myself going up there, climbing over the fireplace that was in her room so I could get a shot of her bathroom as well as her bedroom. So you're welcome for all of that for your lawsuit that you have going against the rental company. But another thing that I want to say real quick, it's actually about how much we supported this brand owner, especially through very trying times. After the house fire, a lot of people were asking us like, hey, can we send you donations? Do you need help with a hotel room? We turned all of that down and actually pushed people to go and support her brand and actually start buying from her brand even more because that would have been the best way to help out at the time. So yeah, that definitely seems like people that have had it out for you and want your brand to fail. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense that whenever I talk about this situation, there are numerous people down below saying I would have never bought for this brand if you had not said something about it and put in such a good word about this brand owner. And a lot of people are saying that this brand owner had them fooled because they were like, I thought this was a nice Christian lady, and apparently it's all been a lie. If you guys want some like realty as to why I think that person said that they were such like a Christian lady, because the whole time that they have been in Texas, they have not even gone by a church, y'all, have not even like made an effort to try to go by a church. The reason why I think that was happening is because when she was in California, she was in a lawsuit with actually Letitia's ex, who is the person that Mango did the video with, Letitia. And so I think that the reason that she was so involved in the church is because it was, oh look, the nice little Christian lady, see, she goes to church every Sunday, she has to be the victim in all of this.
And then she talks about for a rent like 5 whole minutes about how ugly Rena Kaboom is, and have you seen her teeth, and she looks like a witch, and blah blah, her skin is so horrible. Said something about her being a man. So I know for a fact that Jennifer said, I am a white female and people will believe me. I can prove she said that. She can't lie. He gave me $600 cash one day and said, go put a tracker on your ex's car.
So now I want to get to like why we actually had a falling out with the friendship. And I want to start with the Sesh podcast because as many of you know, this brand owner went on the Sesh podcast to talk about Jaclyn Hill. She followed in Marlena Stell's footsteps, saw the positive reaction that she was getting. And honestly, myself as well as Dustin, we were pushing her to do that. We were pushing her for the longest time. It's like, if this person really wronged you in this way, say something about it, because you're literally spending all day, every day, just like harping about her, sending us numerous text messages about Jaclyn Hill. Well, after the fact, and I really do think that this had something to do with how our friendship ended as well. I think it was like a boiling point, like leading up to it. When this brand owner got back from Colorado, she kept pushing me like, when are you making your video? Are you making your video? The podcast is out. She said the same thing to Paige. She said the same thing to Dustin. There's one thing that this brand owner would always tell anybody new or just anybody in our friend group, and that is nobody can drag someone like I can. Now, she would always brag about the way that I can like drag people, and she would always want me to drag people, which I find very interesting because some of those people that I've actually dragged are people that she's still friends with. It was almost like there was a beginning of a disdain for me because I was not putting out the videos that she wanted. I was not dragging the person that she hated the most in this world, and that is Jaclyn Hill. But let's get to what exactly led up to this falling out, because this brand owner decided that she was gonna like dip her toe, which by the way, we were pushing her to do, literally pushing her to get out there and start dating once again. She downloaded Tinder and a few other dating apps, and she did go on like a few dates, but the guys just turned out to be like losers. But the one that she actually chose to like, I guess, fall in love with, she said after like 17 days, she like found her person, which is very interesting because that's what Dustin and I always say about ourselves. It got to the point where Dustin and I were like so lovey-dovey to each other in front of this brand owner that she would say like, oh my god, you guys are gonna give me diabetes. So insert this loser that she had known for like around 17 days. I do want to point this out that Paige and Gaz were actually in town from the UK when we first met this guy that the brand owner started dating, and they were the ones that originally came to myself and to Dustin and said, hey, do you think that this guy's like on the up and up? Do you think like anything shady is going on with him? And as it turned out, we were all having the exact same feeling about him, only meeting him one time. So this brand owner tried to make it out that Dustin and myself were digging too deep into this guy's past, even though this brand owner literally digs into everyone else's past, has a Truth Finder account, a few other websites. Hell, she was even telling me that Jaclyn Hill was past due on her property taxes, girl. But she literally has taught everyone how to use these websites. So the fact that she would even try to utter the word that we dug a little bit too far into his past, when she knows the only thing that we pulled up was the Truth Finder with his background report. But the reason that we were all having like concerns after we had the initial conversation is because out of this brand owner's mouth herself, she told us this man had to wear an ankle monitor for 6 months because he was suicidal, which doesn't make any sense. But if you dig a little bit further into the story, yeah, maybe they thought that he could be suicidal because of a few of the things that he said, but the reason that he actually had to wear it, and I want to say this to a channel out there called Metamorphosis Rocks, I think you're a fool. You ran to make a video because this person has sent you money in the past. So I get you're trying to keep your payroll going. Do you know the reason as to why Dustin and I were afraid for our lives in that house after this confrontation with this brand owner happened, to the point where we had to barricade a door because we were worried that when we were sleeping, because admittedly we had the cameras turned off because this brand owner, as well as this creepy guy that she just got with that would stand over her shoulder, were trying to watch us while we were trying to remove our items from the house so that we could move and we could be safe, because we were removing ourselves from a toxic, dangerous situation. And the reason as to why we had the door barricaded and we were so worried for our safety, which we said on Twitter, which, remind you, we didn't name anybody's name in this until the brand owner as well as the boyfriend decided they were going to go over to Reddit and tried to make up all these lies about how we were just like deadbeats. The boyfriend said that he witnessed such hard drug use, which I'm going to get to in a second. But the reason as to why we were so concerned for our safety, and at the end of the day, my safety as well as Dustin's safety is more important than anything else that was going on in that house, was because this man that your friend is trying to defend has a charge against him where he has to go to court, and all of his guns were taken away from him and out of his possession by the police, which are still under lock and key from the state that he's originally from, because he allegedly threatened to shoot his ex-wife and a son and kill them. So excuse us that that's what did it for you, that we showed that we barricaded the door. That's what did it for you. A few of the other red flags that came out of this brand owner's mouth, to myself, to Dustin, to Paige, to Rosalie, to many other people that are involved in the situation. She told us that he was at one time the CEO of Deutsche Bank, one of the largest banks in the world. He was at one time, by the way, very Googleable. You can Google all the way back to who the CEOs were. Also, the history of Deutsche Bank, very, very concerning. He was at one time the CEO of AMD Avalon Processors. He apparently was the CEO of his own company, which was like the fastest growing tech IP, whatever company of one of these years. Well, it was apparently the fastest going out of business company because it's defunct. Another thing that was a major red flag for all of us was the fact that she told us that this man has had a history in online drama dating back to the 90s, you guys. There are all of these forums about this man talking about how he's a liar, talking about he's shady, talking about how he lies about his whole entire lifestyle dating back to the 90s, to the point where on their first date he literally told this brand owner that I've had to go online and have all my information scrubbed because there's just so many haters out there, there's so much drama, and they just tried to like destroy my business. Is that not a red flag? And just to clear up really quick a misconception that I've seen on social media regarding this situation, Dustin and I were not doing any digging into this man's background that did not want us to do. She literally was the one that sent us the name of his company. She sent us his first and last name, and that was on September 14th before we even confronted her with any of the information that we found.
You know we're gonna worry regardless, so you can save that part. I don't think we'll find anything anyway because I trust you, but we wouldn't share anything unless we found something that was bad anyway, so I think you're good.
And the reason that she actually sent us all of his information like that out of her own regard, like we did not ask for it, was because she was having a conversation with us. She was in the kitchen and we were actually cleaning up a beanbag chair that her dog destroyed. And during that conversation, she was telling us that she found her person and that he's somebody that you can't get something over on. I responded to her and I said, but is he somebody that gets things over on people? So the reason why she sent us all of his information like that to look up was because she noticed like in our voice, we sounded like we were concerned. So from the early on, before this even blew up online, this brand owner knew that we were concerned for her safety and concerned for the situation. So obviously after we looked into the fact that this man was not at one time the CEO of Deutsche Bank, was not at one time the CEO of AMD Avalon Processors, and we found out that his business was actually defunct in the state that he actually opened it up in. Now we were met with the excuse of he's moving the business, so therefore he closed it there and he's gonna reopen it over here with a different like LLC. We were also told that this man did 2 different tours in Iraq, as well as at one time was an FBI gun instructor. Y'all, this just gets crazier and crazier as it goes on. Like, are these not red flags for everyone out there? Like, did y'all not think that we had like legit reason to be concerned about this man? And another thing that he was telling this brand owner, like trying to hype himself up, was the fact that he had yachts parked all across the world, some in Italy, you guys, just everywhere, that he was gonna whisk her away, I bet, to the middle of the ocean. So after myself, Dustin, Rosalie, Paige, Gaz, Vanessa, and a few other friends all started to have these different concerns, and we all compared what we were being told, and it was literally the exact same thing, and we're like, hey, these are red flags. Somebody, not myself, not Dustin, reached out because it was on his background report to his ex-wife. And before anybody wants to be like, oh my god, you're overstepping a boundary, family violence, threatening to allegedly shoot his ex-wife and their son and kill them. Okay, so I don't want to hear nothing down in the comment section of people saying you guys went too far. I just listed a bunch of red flags. If you guys weren't going to be concerned about that, then I don't know what to tell you. All I'm going to say about this phone call is we all heard what this ex-wife said. No information was offered up. It was like a fountain was turned on when the ex-wife, who was very reluctant, like did not even want to get on the phone because she said she was that nervous. It was like a fountain was turned on with the stuff that she started saying about this man. I know that exes always talk shit about each other, but one of the reasons why we even wanted to reach out in the first place to her was because we all knew about her before all this stuff went south, before we knew a few of the red flags that I just listed for all of you guys. It was a classic case of somebody trashing their ex, trying to make the ex seem like they're crazy so that the new person will be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you went through so much, let me save you. So this brand owner obviously knew that we were going to look him up on Truthfinder, and we were going to let her know if we found anything shady. Even if we didn't find anything shady, I still would have let her know. We ended up calling her and said, like, you need to come home right now, we need to talk to you about something, and she immediately responded with, is it about somebody I'm in the house with right now? Every time she was over at that man's house, for some reason, she had to like whisper into her phone. I'm not exactly sure why. But then we find out after we told her that we were concerned for her safety, that the whole time that we were talking to her on the phone, the man was standing there right with her, listening to everything that we were saying. So she comes home, she's sitting at the counter. This is how like involved she wanted to be in this conversation. I made a list on my phone of all the talking points that I wanted to get to and like the list of things the ex-wife said on the phone. And I sit down on the couch after hugging her when she comes through the door. I sit down on the couch expecting her to come sit on the couch as well. She looks at me and she goes, can I open my packages while you're talking to me about this? Because it just helps me. So I'm not going to go into this list much. I might post it over on Twitter, but there was one thing that was like really concerning, because during this conversation that Dustin and I were having in person with her, you had Rosalie also on FaceTime, which was sitting right here next to Dustin facing, but then you also had Vanessa on FaceTime because she was actually concerned for safety and the situation, which honestly she didn't even have to be, because what you guys don't know is the fact that Vanessa worked for this company and was fired for a personal reason that started because this brand owner no longer wanted to be her friend because Vanessa got her pussy waxed and she was sleeping with a man that she was dating. But this brand owner thought that she could step into Vanessa's parenting style and say that she's a piss poor parent, actually said that Vanessa's child was going to grow up to be a serial killer because Vanessa was in a dating phase. Like, how dare you try to get involved in somebody's parenting, especially as somebody who has never had a child of their own. Although I do have to say I thought it was very comical when you were talking and saying as a stepmother to this man that you knew for 17 days about his 18-year-old daughter. You knew him for 17 days and you were talking like a stepmom, calling yourself a step parent on the phone. The part of the list that I'm referring to actually has to do with this woman that this man allegedly dated when he first moved to Texas, that guess what? He was apparently obsessed with as well and started to get psycho with her towards the end. Well, one of the things that was said over the phone was that allegedly after this woman and this man broke up, his daughter was sending her like threatening text messages, apparently saying, how dare you leave my father? But also allegedly, since he was on her Wi-Fi and I guess maybe somehow had her Facebook password, all of a sudden CP started getting sent from her internet connection, but also from her Facebook profile. Now on the list, I brought that up and I brought that to the attention of the person that we were talking to, and the immediate response was, that's not alarming, that happens all the time. Now immediately I was taken aback and I wish you guys could have seen my face, because I responded with, no the fuck it doesn't. That's not something that has ever happened on my social media, Dustin's social media, Rosalie's social media, Vanessa's social media, hopefully not your social media or anybody's social media that we know. I want to touch on Rosalie real quick because some of you might not be familiar with Rosalie Delgado. She does have a YouTube channel, but she's mainly on Facebook, like live streaming and doing all of her makeup looks, so I definitely recommend checking her out. Rosalie was literally this brand owner's best friend. Like, end all be all, this brand owner would do anything for Rosalie and vice versa. I do have permission to talk about this from Rosalie. I actually asked her before I sat down. I am going to be playing you guys a few voice memos in a moment, just because there has been a lot of manipulation that has gone on in regards to this situation, and frankly, we're over it. We're over it. So Rosalie has had a few dark experiences herself when it comes to domestic violence, so she was seeing red flags and having her own concerns about this guy that this brand owner was with. So she really wanted to be there when we confronted this brand owner about the things that we found out, also about what the ex-wife said. Rosalie was literally on FaceTime bawling her eyes out, crying in front of this brand owner who was looking right at the camera, and she said, I want to let you know why I'm having these concerns, and she's literally fighting back tears as she's trying to say this, and looked right at the camera and she said, why are you even bringing that up? So your supposed best friend of the time that you know has had a very dark past when it comes to domestic violence, to the point where you have literally weaponized it when people have had a disagreement with Rosalie. That's the first thing that you go to. You bring that up, that she has a past with domestic violence. It seems to be a pattern for you. But you're gonna look her right in the face over FaceTime and ask her why the is she bringing up her issues and bringing up why she has concerns because she's concerned for you. There is one thing that a lot of you might not remember or just might not know. It was alluded to online, but it was also said behind the scenes to Paige as well as Rosalie. But this brand owner was saying like, Nick and Vanessa aren't gonna be happy until I hurt myself or I end it all. Like basically saying that they are suicidal. When I originally posted on Twitter that Dustin and I were going to be leaving Texas because we've been put in a very dangerous situation, so for our safety we were just going to remove ourselves, I did not name this brand owner. I did not name this brand owner's boyfriend. I did not name this brand owner's boyfriend's daughter, who nobody even knew that he had a daughter on social media until he started making weird posts of a picture of him and her on a motorcycle talk about daddy-daughter time. Well, it didn't take long after I posted that over on Twitter that this brand owner actually went to Reddit herself, and then her boyfriend went to Reddit and tried to accuse us of things of being abusive to her, but also accused us of being like hard drug users. My point is, no names were named. Actually, if you looked under my original tweet, people were like, I hope that you, Jen, and Dustin are all safe. I hope whatever it is, you guys get through it, blah, 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 blah. No one knew. Like, nobody knew what the situation was. So the fact that the brand owner would even bring up the word suicide or the word suicidal, and then the next day she told Rosalie that she just said that so people would stop coming after her on social media.
I'm really sad for you, friend, because I don't think you deserve to have a man come into your world and create this amount of havoc. And I told you, if that man really loved you, like he tells you every day, like he started telling you day 3 of dating him, if he really loved you, he would stop this shit. He would stop it because he knows it's hurting you. That's why, because I love you, that I stopped and I moved on and I moved away because I knew it was hurting you. But let me tell you something while I have you on the phone. You know what triggered me the most? Was the night that you kept saying you wanted to hurt yourself. You told me you were feeling like you wanted to kill yourself, and you told Paige that, and then the next day you told me you just said that to get the heat off of you. That hurt me so bad, because I've been to that place.
Okay, so it is obviously a different time and a different day. I know it looks like I'm wearing the exact same thing, and you're kind of right, but I did change my outfit. This is literally just my uniform. I wear the same exact thing every single day. But let's get back into this conversation that myself, Dustin, Rosalie, Vanessa were having with our ex-friends. And there were actually 2 conversations that happened that day. You had the initial one where we presented everything to her. She immediately got up from that, went into her bedroom, called the man that we were giving her all this information about, not to just check up on him, but to tell him everything that we had just said. Now, keep in mind, this is a man that we were all telling our concerns about. We thought that he was dangerous because of some things that we found on the internet about him. And then when someone spoke to the ex-wife, having things confirmed, like throughout this whole entire situation, from the day that we actually confronted with all this information to the time that we actually left Texas and got the fuck out of the house, we were telling her numerous times that we were leaving a toxic, dangerous situation. The living environment was just not going to work out for us anymore. I even sent her text messages saying that we are removing ourselves for this reason. I know that it is unfair that we said that we would call the police if this man ever comes to the house. So you are, girl, keep dating him. We're just choosing to not be in the situation. Now, somehow that wasn't okay. Can somebody answer for me, please, like how it's okay though that she would want us to continue living in a situation where the man makes us uncomfortable, the man has this, and this against him, his story doesn't line up, none of the jobs that he said he had he ever had. The second conversation was just between myself, Dustin, and And honestly, it went pretty well. Like, we all talked about it. We said this man makes us uncomfortable. Came to like a reasoning kind of about it. We were still going to get the fuck out of there. Like, I already told Dustin, I'm not dealing with this. If she wants to stay with this man, great, good for her. I hope that they make it. I hope they get married and all that kind of stuff. She's 56 years old. She said that she finally met her person. But immediately after that conversation, she went back into her bedroom and once again called the man because she had to be on the phone with him literally 24/7. Every single day. Like, I understand puppy love. I understand you're excited to be in a new relationship, but 24/7, unless you were sleeping, is a little insane. So I even have a text to her because it seemed that every time she would go into the room and she would start talking to him privately, the attitude would change and she would immediately start to be a bitch. So I brought that up to her. I was like, it seems that your attitude changes every single time that you talk to this man on the phone, and then started some more of the manipulation. So this man immediately had all these documents on the ready to send to our ex-friend so that she could try to present his side of the story to us, saying that the ex-wife was lying. She is so dangerous. She is so abusive to him, all of this kind of stuff. But let's not forget the charge. After a lot of back and forth and text messages, guys, her trying to make us believe that this man was a good man, this man was not lying about anything, even though the receipts, you guys, you remember how I told you that she said he like had yachts all over the world? This is her word out of her own mouth. She said that he had boats everywhere. Basically, they were parked somewhere. The receipt that she gave me to prove that this man had yachts was from 2001. We are in the year of 2023. Why the f would I care that this man had a boat docked in 2001? So our ex-friend kept sending Dustin and myself all of these receipts and all of this proof that this man is just such an amazing person. He is not what we say he is. All of these allegations are untrue. Didn't go the way that they were expecting. She literally texted me after I told her numerous times to her face that this man makes us uncomfortable. If he comes back to this house, he's one, a liar, but if he comes back to this house, I'm going to call the police and I'm going to say that he needs to be off of this property. Because let's not forget, I was on the lease as well. And you're not going to make me live in an uncomfortable, dangerous, toxic situation. She literally had the audacity, gall, and the motherfucking gumption to ask me to come into the kitchen because Charles wanted to speak with me. She thought that I owed him an apology. And then she tried this manipulative bullshit, honestly, like it was from high school. You're 56 years old. Simmer the fuck down. I'm just going to read you guys these text messages. She said, Charles wants to talk to you. You can meet me in the kitchen. The fact that she said, you can meet me in the kitchen, as if I was going to be there with bells on to apologize to the man that's lying to you. And I said, I have no interest in speaking with, to be honest. It will not change any opinion that I have. She responded again. I think he deserves an apology. He already broke up with me, which should make everyone but me happy. If that was some attempt to make myself or Dustin feel bad that we were worried about our friend, as were all of her other closest friends, you failed. So I responded and said, I'm not sorry for anything though. Sorry for having concern for my friend. Well, actually, I'm sorry for cursing earlier because I did curse. You guys know I have a mouth on me. I mean, there's so many fucking bleeps. There's a bleep right there. I say it all the time. So yeah, I cursed. Oh no, let me get the fucking soap for my mouth. She then goes on, for making untrue allegations and for contacting the person who has been trying to ruin his life. Let me tell you guys about his ex-wife because this is actually so comical. During this whole entire thing, this whole entire drama, this whole entire friendships ending thing, there's one thing that could have made it all stop in the eyes of that piece of shit that she was dating for 17 days that she allowed to destroy all of her closest friendships. And that was if we promised to never contact his ex-wife again, which honestly, nobody had any fucking plans on doing. We had the information that we needed to present to our friend, which honestly makes you wonder, considering they're going through a divorce, considering the charge that is still pending until next year, it honestly makes you wonder why this man is so concerned if his ex-wife knows where he is. We did not tell his ex-wife where he is. She actually let us know that he was living in a town in Texas. She let us know that because she told us about the ex that he was with, that he allegedly was obsessed with as well. Since we are on the topic of this man's ex-wife and the divorce that he is going through, would you guys be shocked to know that this man who is a proclaimed millionaire, he says that he just has so much money, he was going to show up at our ex-friend's warehouse with a bag of money to give her because she gifted his daughter so much makeup. We were literally told that this man was representing himself in divorce court because he was so well known and so revered in the community that he did not want the courts to think that he had an upper hand in his divorce. So a multi-millionaire is self-representing in a divorce. I've known some millionaires in my time here on this planet, and let me tell you, anytime that they had to go to court, even if it was the smallest of things, they were not self-representing, because you know why? They actually had the bankroll to be able to put behind a lawsuit so that they wouldn't go in there and have to self-represent because they were so well known, and they would actually win. they would actually win. Okay, so I just had to pause and take a smoke break. I hope that you guys are staying elevated, or you're at least staying hydrated, because I know this video is very, very long. This is actually probably the longest video that I've ever put on this channel. But since we were on the topic of red flags, I do have a few more red flags that I remembered that I wanted to bring up to you guys to get your opinion down below in the comment section. The first one has to be that this man, the CEO, he told our ex-friend that he turned down a $1.2 million job like a week into their relationship because he wanted to focus on the new budding love that he had found with her. Oh, and then there is this one. Please let me know if this is like a reason for concern at all. He told her that he loved her on day 3. Day 3, not date, D-A-Y, 3. Trace. Let's see what else. Oh, remember how we're talking about how he is a manipulator? Let me tell you about a little bit more manipulation with this red flag. So the daughter was on date number 2 to fill our ex-friend in on how the ex-wife that he was going through the divorce with was so toxic, she was abusive, and all of these different things. Is that appropriate for a second date? Who the fuck brings their child on a second date? And in my opinion, and literally all of her ex-friends that she informed that the daughter was on the second date, and she went through the whole spiel about how the lady was abusive and all of that, that is just tugging on the heartstrings, trying to get in deeper and get their claws onto her. And let me tell you, it worked. And then there, of course, is this red flag. Actually, I just thought of another one that is so crazy. There's this red flag right here where this man told our ex-friend that he had only been in town for a few months, like 3. Well, it turns out that this man was allegedly in town since November of 2022 because he had a previous relationship with another lady in Texas that did not end well. So this man allegedly had been in town since November of 2022. This multi-millionaire who boasts about his lavish lifestyle fluffs our ex-friend's head up. By the way, I told you guys earlier that the ex-friend, when we got to Texas after a while, started talking about building a compound. Do you know what this man also wanted to build, surprisingly? A compound. Oh my gosh. So we were told by our ex-friend that this man had no furniture inside of his house except for one thing. And the one piece of furniture that was inside of that house was a bed. And in that bed, whenever she would go over there, which she spent a lot of time at his house, she would literally have to run to him. I'll get back to that in a second. She told us that whenever she went over there, it would be him, the daughter, and her all sitting in the bed and watching movies together. Is that not fucking creepy and fucking weird? Having daddy-daughter time, as he likes to call it. Oh, and by the way, this house that he lived in, our friend told us that it was only 1,800 square feet, and she laughed about it because she said that was the size of her closet. She has a habit of talking shit about people on the size of their houses. She used to call Vanessa's home, which is like 1,700 square feet, I believe it is. I'm not exactly sure how big it is. She would call it her tiny home. And bing bong, here is another red flag for all of you. Before all of this drama started going down, before we like brought everything to our ex-friend's attention, she had a conversation with Dustin, and she literally told him that this man that she had been with for however many days at this point, I don't even know when this conversation happened, probably like 5 days. She told Dustin that this man, who is 50 years old, was having a conversation with her about a drama channel named Tea Time. So please tell me exactly why this man, who is not on social media in that way, knows of all drama channels, Tea Time. Now, this is very interesting because I watched this man when our ex-friend came inside with him after they got out of the pool. She was trying to have a conversation with him about Jaclyn Hill because, again, remember, she tells everybody about Jaclyn Hill. And the look on his face, honestly, the look on his face when she was talking about it, I could just tell. He's like, I don't know if this score is worth it. Oh, another red flag. Oh my God, this is just, you know what? Maybe the bowl was worth it. Maybe I should have smoked that bowl because I just thought of another red flag. So when he came over to the house, we met him twice. He came over and brought his 18-year-old daughter who, this is weird. Oh my God, another. Number one, he told our ex-friend that this daughter of his was a barista and that she was going to go back and work at Starbucks because that's just where she wanted to work. She had worked there before. And he told our ex-friend that he was going to reach out to the CEO of Starbucks and he was going to get her a job. And then he said that CEO emailed him back and said she can work at any location that she wants to. Please remember what I said about Starbucks because we're going to get back to that. Do you guys remember how I just said that when our ex-friend would go over to the house that only had the bed in it, it would literally be her, the daughter, and the guy all in the bed sitting together? Well, later that night, so Paige, Gaz, myself, Dustin, we were all sitting outside because we were smoking some marijuana. Now, that's going to come up later as well because the man tried to tell everyone that he witnessed hard and heavy drug use. But we were all sitting outside and the back of that house had huge windows and we were looking over just looking over like this, looking through the glass to see what was going on inside. When I tell you that daughter was almost sitting on top of his lap, our ex-friend had to sit a few seats down. That's how close she was sitting.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
And then when the daughter finally got up, I guess to go get a drink after she told us there was nothing in our refrigerator that she would ever want to drink. I guess water was just fucking piss poor for her. The daughter walked back over to the couch. And I'm telling you, her stomach, if she would have had like a gut hanging out, would have been touching the back of the couch. That's how close she was, right behind her father and our ex-friend. Creepy. Some of you guys might remember this. When Paige and Gaz were in town, they brought their children. And of course, the children adored our ex-friend. So much that Paige's daughter, she wanted to get into the kitchen and she wanted to cook a pizza with our ex-friend. The pizzas weren't bad, but it was a really nice moment for Paige's daughter as well as for our ex-friend, I guess. Well, when that man got there, our ex-friend said, oh my God, you have to try my pizza. Like, I just made it. Like, please try this, whatever. He, in a raised tone, goes, I'm not gonna try anything right now. And I just remember like sitting there, I was on the couch, Dustin, Paige, and Gaz all heard this as well. And I just remember like kind of like glancing around the room. Everybody was a little taken aback. Even our ex-friend was a little taken aback to where she was like, please don't break up with me. Which the whole please don't break up with me thing is honestly funny to me as well. Because before, during, and after all of this drama went down with our ex-friend and this man, two of the warehouse employees, honestly, the only two warehouse employees, were voicing their own concerns, voicing the fact that they had seen their own red flags, not to our ex-friend, but to myself, Dustin, and a few other people. Well, one of the employees said that every morning at work, because this man would be on speakerphone, you guys are gonna hear about the speakerphone again in a few minutes. Well, one of these employees told us because this man was on speakerphone every single morning at work, the employee said that our ex-friend would tell them, but also they witnessed hearing this themselves, that this man would break up with her at least 4 times before 10 a.m. So enough with the red flags. Let's get back to the evening that all of this blew up when we brought all of this to the attention of our ex-friend. You guys are probably so annoyed at the fact that I'm saying ex-friend like nonstop. Like, please don't start a drinking game behind this because honestly, you will be sloshed. So one of the things, if you have been following this drama or you were paying attention when all this was going on back in September, is that our ex-friend wanted to make it seem like we were demanding all of this information from this man, which was never the case at all. We gave her the information that we had, and the whole time we were letting her know he needs to let you know for your own safety, for your own concerns, that he actually is the person that he is telling you. So after my ex-friend had the audacity to think that I would actually come into the kitchen to have a conversation with this man that I'm literally telling her we all think is a con, and thinking that I would ever offer up some kind of apology to him, she texted me and said, he doesn't owe you proof of anything and I'm not going to ask him. So I responded and I said, well, then he needs no apology. You're right, he doesn't owe me that. He owes the person that he told it to, which would be her, because she was going around to all of her friends and fluffing this man up. Now, the reason that I'm using the word fluff is because after a few days of us going back and forth about this man is not a CEO and has never been a CEO of any of these companies, he's lying to you about many things, she literally told Dustin, oh, I misspoke. I must have fluffed him up a little bit. Everybody fluffs themselves up. The ex-friend then responded and said, your heart is in the right place, but your methods are very wrong and have caused a lot of problems. So you're fine if my relationship is ruined? Again, that's manipulative, girl. If your relationship is ruined because your friends voiced some concerns, the concerns that you did not have to run back and immediately tell this man, you could have literally just gone to your bedroom and done the research the same way that you research other people, the same way that you have researched and talked about wanting to get people fired before. You could have gone to your bedroom and you could have done that same thing. But instead, you decided to go and pick up your phone and cry to him about what your mean old friends, their concerns that they had, the lies that they're telling about him. You know what, just real talk right now, that is so pathetic. The fact that you have had all of these people in your life for years that have literally done so much to help you. Some of them have literally saved your life, and in this case, literally we're trying to do it again. The fact that you throw all of them to the curb because you got some piss poor dick for a few days, it's pathetic. So I responded with, if your relationship is ruined because your friends had concern, that's not my fault, and I will not be apologizing for looking out for you. What you just said came off as manipulation, and I don't appreciate that. Then the ex-friend texted that she was leaving and that we needed to take care of her dog. I'll tell you what, I hope that this man enjoyed the chase because she left the house and went immediately back to his house to grovel so he would take her back. Remember I just said that she was trying to say he broke up with me and everyone's going to be happy about that except for me. The manipulation. So you are that pathetic that you had to leave immediately and rush back over to the man that broke up with you, probably for the 10th time that day, because your employees say that it happens a lot before 10 a.m. But I text her right back after she asked us to please take care of her dog, which is something that she did a lot. Keep in mind, this is somebody that said that I isolated her. I literally took care of that dog more than she did. 9 times out of 10, when that dog went outside, it's because she sent us a text message and she would say, Yogi needs to go out. Is somebody able to take him? Because she couldn't be bothered to come out of her room. Now, it was fine when that was going on, when she broke her ankle because she had to leave the house in an ice storm to go into the office when nothing was operating at all to try to ship orders and pack them. Like, you couldn't stay home for 1 extra day, and then got mad at us because we did not want to get in our car and drive after she told us that it took her over an hour to get to work when it should take her like 15 minutes. She wants us to put our lives at risk to get in our car to drive to where she is at her office, where she is laying on the ice with a broken ankle, put ourselves in danger, put ourselves at risk because she couldn't sit at home. She seems to like putting people at risk a lot, and she likes to blame people for a lot of shit too. I know it's going to be a little sidetrack rant. She is not good at driving, y'all, at all. The first time that I ever met up with her in California, she had her BMW and there was a huge gash on the side of it because she took out a curb. So one day she was out driving somewhere and she hit yet another curb, to the point where this time it literally expanded the tire. There was a huge knot on the tire. Tried to blame it on me and Dustin, tried to accuse us. Admittedly, we did drive her car several times because we have literally a 2-seater, and if we had to go get something big or if we were running errands, that's what we would take. Never hit a curb. She then got mad at us because the tire looked like it was gonna explode, and we didn't want to drive it to the dealership so it could get checked out. We didn't cause that bump on your tire, and I definitely was not about to put my life at risk with the tire exploding because you don't know how to drive. It's not that hard. You've been doing it for a good long while. I should be able to figure it out by now. Oh, and speaking of cars, let me just tell you about this thing. If you live in North Texas, then you know that it's extremely windy all of the time. Like, that is one of the windiest places that I have ever been to in my life. Well, after the house fire, obviously our ex-friend has 2 cars. She has the Escalade, but she also has a BMW. She parked the BMW at her office, all alone in the parking lot on days where there were high winds. Something got picked up and smacked into her windshield and created a very tiny crack that over time started to go across the whole window. Now, we had not been driving the car at this time. Blamed us, got mad at us, kept bringing up to us that she has to get a new windshield and she has to pay for it and all of this. Okay, that's what car ownership is. Things happen to your car. You just don't get to blame people for it happening. You guys are going to be shocked right now. As I was sitting here looking through my notes, another red flag appeared. I know, it's crazy. So as you guys know, I told you that our ex-friend was the one that taught us how to use a website called Truthfinder, as well as a few other websites that are similar to Truthfinder. And trust me, she has a very long history of looking up people for other people as well. When Dustin pulled the background report for this guy after our ex-friend gave us literally all of his information to look him up, he looked him up on September 14th. The day that we brought this to the attention of our ex-friend was September 16th. So there was about 48 hours between the time that Dustin actually looked him up, because he looked him up in the morning, to when we actually brought all this to the attention of our ex-friend. Well, the reason that this is a red flag is because when our ex-friend went into her bedroom, called this man up, and he was giving her all this information, giving her this spiel, telling her to text us things, all that kind of stuff, she actually did type his name into Truthfinder. And would you guys be shocked to know that all of a sudden, none of his information was showing up? So after she told me that it was not working for her, she could not find his information, she wanted to know how we pulled it up. I said to her, I'm not that familiar with the website, so I don't know how long it would take. She let me know it would be 5 to 7 days to actually have someone's stuff removed from one of those websites. Well, because of everything else that had been going on, I decided to actually Google how long Truthfinder and those websites take to remove people's information when they actually request it. Interesting enough, 48 hours. Now this is just speculation on my part, but with as fast as she ran back into her bedroom to alert this man of the concerns that her friends were having about him, and the fact that when this man was trying to tell his bullshit ass story about their budding relationship for 17 days, he said that their relationship was built on openness and honesty, among a few other things. So what I'm saying is, I would not be surprised if our ex-friend, after she gave us all of his information to look him up, decided that she was going to be open and honest with him and let him know. It's almost like you gave him a heads up. But then what makes it even more crazy is that at a later time, our ex-friend said that he sent her a screenshot of an email that he sent to Truthfinder and all these websites in March of 2023 to have his information removed. Now, I don't know about y'all, That's not 5 to 7 days, and that's definitely not 48 hours. So if he reached out to them in March of 2023 to have it removed, why was Dustin able to find it? Why was it all of a sudden gone? Anyways, getting back to when our ex-friend ran immediately back over to the man that just broke up Dura's house to grovel so she could try to get him back. She kept trying to contact Rosalie, who used to be her best friend. And Rosalie told her, I just want to talk to you. I only want to talk to my friend. I don't want to talk to you and have anybody around. I definitely don't want to talk to you and have that man around. So the ex-friend tells Rosalie, okay, when I get there, if he doesn't let me in the house, I will call you when I get back in the car. So do you know the call that Rosalie got after she told her that she did not want to talk to this man because this man, in her opinion, was abusive and in her opinion was someone to be concerned about? Rosalie got a phone call from the ex-friend, but also her man. And instead of the ex-friend saying much, she just allowed this man to scream at her friend on the phone. You want to talk about crossing a fucking boundary? If that's not crossing a boundary, your friend, who at the time you considered your best friend, told you they did not want to speak to this man because he made them uncomfortable. They thought that he was a con man. They thought that he was dangerous, and they were concerned for your well-being, and they just wanted to talk to their friend. So the first thing that you do is call them with him so he can scream. So we brought all this information to our ex-friend on September 16th. On September 17th at 12:56 a.m., I sent a text message to her. This is after the blow up at the house. This is after she tried to get me to apologize to that man. This is after she allowed him to scream at her best friend on the phone for God knows how long, which she seemed to be very concerned in text that I was actually listening to this phone call to hear this man scream, because she wasn't able to say that didn't happen. So as I said, I sent her a text on Sunday, September 17th at 12:56 a.m. It says, we will be working on getting our stuff moved out of the house and work on getting you paid the money we owe. This has become a toxic living arrangement and we think it's best just to part ways. Have a great night. I'm not exactly sure why she ignored that message completely and did not say anything about what I had to say. Maybe she just thought that I was like in a heated moment and I didn't actually mean that, but girl, trust and believe, before I even sent the text message, I was telling Dustin, I was telling Paige, I was telling Vanessa, I was telling Gaz, I was telling Julie, I was telling Rosalie, I was telling everyone, we are getting the f out of here. This is not a safe situation. So all throughout the day on the 17th, Dustin and I were packing our stuff, figuring out where we were going to go, how we were going to do this, and how we were going to do it in such a short amount of time. This started on the 16th of September. Dustin and I were out of that house on September 20th. We left all of our furniture. All of our furniture went to the 2 employees that I told you about earlier that worked in the warehouse. It went to their house, but trust me, it was not an easy feat for them to be able to get it. The brand owner was trying to like hold it up in the house saying, I don't want strangers in my house. You have to like schedule it with me. Was honestly not making any kind of movement to try to help her employees who actually really needed the bed that I was giving them. The employee literally needed that bed. Apparently the ceiling in her room came down and completely destroyed the other bed set that she had. So the fact that this brand owner was trying to make it difficult, knowing that, is a little fucked up. Like, you can dislike me and all that, but your employee literally needed a bed. And then you tried to convince this employee that the bed smelled like piss. Remember that? But almost in the same breath, you asked her to put sheets on the bed. So to me, if you're trying to get sheets put on the bed, that's kind of giving that you were trying to keep the bed. And it's kind of given that you were saying it smelled like piss because you didn't want her to take it. It's given weird. Now let's move on to September 18th, because September 18th is the morning that I woke up, literally woke up at 9 something in the morning, looked at my phone, noticed that I had a text message from a random number that I obviously did not know. And our ex-friend was also attached to that text thread. So I opened it up and it was a book, y'all. It was such a long text message. Well, lo and behold, it was the man that I told the ex-friend made me uncomfortable. She literally gave my personal phone number to someone that I told her I thought was dangerous. That's alarming. So after I read that message, I obviously did not respond. The brand owner at that time, myself and Dustin, we were not on speaking terms. And especially after this bullshit ass message that I received, it was completely axed off. I blocked her on social media. She said that we blocked her because we were trying to like subtweet her and we wanted to run with our narrative. And that's why we were doing it. No, I blocked you because you're a psycho. I blocked you because you were on Twitter trying to make up lies, saying that I was a deadbeat. You were telling people behind the scenes that I was abusive to Dustin. We're gonna get to that in a minute. But anyways, since obviously I was not responding to that bullshit ass text message, I went to Twitter and I said this: it sucks to see someone you care about get manipulated to the point their boyfriend sends you a threatening message about karma. Let me just read you a little excerpt from that message that had me tweeting that. I am so sorry for what you endured in life and for the challenges that Nick and Dustin had to deal with also. We all know what abuse, fear, hiding, etc. feels like. We all experienced it. It's unkind to do to others. Karma is real. It always returns with interest. Thank you for everything, for the kindness towards my daughter and I, for hosting us at your beautiful home. No relationship is possible under these circumstances. The last 2 days have been terrible for my daughter. You and I. People that know what suffering truly is will never do that to others. People that live in glass houses don't throw stones. People that don't pay their bills, taxes, etc. don't get to judge anyone, especially those that work hard every day to put a smile on the faces of others. I will post a series of videos about my journey and my experience. One will be about what transpired over the last few days. Thank you, Jen. You are an amazing person. Now, there's a few things that I want to pick apart about this message. One, he tried to say that we did not pay our taxes. First of all, I don't know why you're worried about my taxes. Maybe you should worry a little bit more about your own, especially your girlfriend's taxes, because her employee was sending out an image of a comptroller coming to her business door looking for her. So later on September 18th, the ex-friend texted me and she let me know that this is unnecessary, and she sent me a screenshot of my tweet. So I decided that I was going to respond to her and I was going to let her know what actually was unnecessary. It's unnecessary that a man that I said made me nervous and uncomfortable because I feel he's dangerous sent me a threatening text message this morning with personal info about us. I told you numerous times we are exiting this situation because it has become unsafe. We do not know that man or what he is capable of other than what his current court situation is. I told you yesterday I am more than happy to keep this amicable as I have with D, and you know how bad that situation was. Instead, you have tried to force us to meet and talk to a man who I have said numerous times makes us feel uncomfortable and makes us feel unsafe. I am more than happy to have a conversation with Jen about anything regarding us leaving here and any money owed. I have no interest in speaking about or to a man who has now threatened karma against Dustin and myself. So now I want to talk about setups, because there were a few of them that were going on during this whole entire time. I genuinely do believe Dustin believes this as well, and everybody else that was a witness to what was going on. We wholeheartedly believe that the ex-friend, as well as this new man and the daughter, were all trying to set us up, and let me tell you why. Not only did we tell the ex-friend numerous times we wanted nothing to do with this man, we did not want him around us. If he comes to the house, we are going to call the police. We think that he's dangerous. We do not feel safe with him around. She literally tried to get us to go somewhere in public and meet up with him so we could talk. What else did you need to hear? That none of us wanted anything to do with him because we all thought he was dangerous, that he was a con man, that he was a liar. You're the one that told us about his ankle bracelet. What more did you need to hear? What was not clicking? We did not want to go in public and meet this man. Why? So he could try to get a rise out of us. One, to probably record it, but two, so he could try to say that something happened and he could call the police? No. Or God knows what else, actually. Please miss me with this excuse that you use that all of his guns were locked up in another state so nothing could happen. Guess what? Illegal guns are very easy to come by, especially in the state of Texas. And when there's a will, there's a way. So I'm not putting anything past no one. So there's another part of this bullshit ass message that I wanted to read to you guys because it's very pertinent to what I'm about to talk about next. And that part goes as follows. As soon as my daughter wakes up, we are heading to court because we need to file for a restraining order against Nick, Dustin, and Vanessa. My life is not one of their YouTube drama. I left a few comments on Dustin's YouTube. I will make a video in the next few days to expose what they did. Suffice to say, I know where you went. The dance will start again. That I received this morning is just the beginning. The reason that this man said, I know where you went, the dance will start again, he was trying to say that he was receiving text messages and just being harassed online ever since all this started. Bro, no one knew who the f you were. So how is that even happening? That's a little crazy, right? A little cuckoo, a little weird. Come on, you believe in your own lies? You sniffing your own stuff? Well, the reason that I wanted to make sure that I read that part for everybody out there, because there were some out there that were so naive to believe that the reason that Dustin and I actually left Texas was because we were running from a cease and desist, we were running from a restraining order, and we were running because we were going to get a lawsuit. Would I be sitting here right now, on camera, talking to you the way that I am if I was running from something? Bitch, I'm seated. Well, there's a few things that I want to go over about that part of the message. One, there were no comments ever left on Dustin's video or my video by this man. Later in the day, he did text again from the exact same phone number with the brand owner also in the thread. So I received the first text message at 9:19 a.m. and he sent another text message at 4:50 p.m. Let me read you that one. Out of my love for Jen, I am removing all comments on your videos. It's way too hurt. Grow the hell up. Love is a two-way street. Issue here. Just an issue here with what you had to say. You never left any comments on Dustin or my video, because if you would have, those would have been put on Twitter and we would have discussed it during that time. So I don't know who you were fooling. I don't know if you were telling her that and she was believing that, because it seems like she was believing a lot of what you're in. It seems that whatever Kool-Aid you have, whatever flavor that is what she was really digging. The second issue that I have with your bullshit ass message is this, because you've been caught in yet another lie. So do you guys remember how I told you that this man was going to reach out to the CEO of Starbucks because he was friends with him and he was going to send an email, and then the CEO messaged back and said she could have a job wherever she wanted? Well, September 18th was the day that she was supposed to start her job. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. September 18th was the day that she was supposed to start at Starbucks. How crazy that earlier that day, on speakerphone at the office, the employees overheard him say, which you guys heard in the intro, I'm going to play it for you again in a second. They said that they heard that man tell our ex-friend that she did not need to come to the house by herself because we could be drugging her. So you're trying to make her believe that the ones that literally saved her life once were trying to do it again because of you. You were trying to make her believe that we were going to poison her with drugs. So let's go back to the part of the message that I just read that man sent me, where he said that after his daughter woke up, they were going to go to the courthouse and they were going to seek a restraining order. He was trying to make it seem like she was so scared for her life, so scared for her safety. Well, the daughter, who was apparently so scared for her safety, the employees told Rosalie when they called her that she was on her way to our house with our ex-friend in tow because she needed to be here for her safety because the man was worried that we were going to do something. So okay, let me get this right. You said that you were going to have to go seek a restraining order against us because we were harassing and your daughter was scared of us. But you, as a parent, as a father that does daddy-daughter time, you were going to put your daughter into a situation that you were deeming as unsafe? That's interesting. Oh, also, as a gotcha moment, we knew that you were sitting down the road at the park watching our house while our ex-friend and your daughter went in and out of the house numerous times. Actually, let me tell you when this started. This went on 5 times in under a 30-minute span. So what was happening was, at 6:03 p.m., we noticed that our gate opened. This is after we got the message that the daughter was on the way to the house. Gate opens at 6:03 p.m. Closes at 6:04. Now they pull into the driveway, go into the garage where you can bypass because there were literally no cameras at all. Came into the house. Dustin and I were both upstairs because we know what you were trying to do. We know that you were trying to set us up and get some kind of reaction out of us. So during this time between 6:03 and 6:24 p.m., the gate opened and closed with them going in and out of it, driving down the road to the park that this man was sitting at watching the house, circling back around and coming back into the driveway and going in through the garage. Now, what's interesting about this is there was a Google Home in the community space, which was the kitchen. Guess what was covered with a McDonald's bag? The camera on the Google Home. Oh my gosh. So you weren't actually grabbing anything from the house between 6:03 and 6:24 when you were acting like a maniac, driving in and out of the driveway, driving down the road to where your boyfriend was sitting watching the house because he knew if he stepped foot on that property, the popo was getting galled. So he sent his daughter. Like, I just want to drive that home to everyone. He literally said they were going to have to seek a restraining order against myself and Dustin and Vanessa, and then sent his daughter, who he was going to seek the restraining order with, into our house numerous times with his girlfriend. We are back outside. It is a new dawn. It is a new day. And I'm feeling good. There was one thing that I wanted to say about the last clip of the daughter of that man coming into the house numerous times with our ex-friend trying to set us up. After they left the house and we figured out that they would not be coming back, because honestly, 5 times going in and out of the gate in a short span of time is honestly psychotic, I put over on my community page because at this time, again, this was on the 18th, and especially after she came into the house with the person that was apparently so scared of us, they were going to have to go and seek a restraining order. I have nothing that I want to say to you. So I put over on my community page, I just wanted to update everyone we are still packing. All we were trying to do, again, from the 17th, because the 16th is when we brought everything to her attention. So from the 17th when we got up until the 20th when we pulled out of that driveway, we were doing nothing but packing our shit and trying to figure out what exactly we were going to take, because we were trying to do it in such a quick time frame because things were escalating that fast. I guarantee you, if Dustin and I would have stayed in Texas and we still would have been in that house, one of us would have wound up in jail because they would have tried to have found some way to make us either freak out, and with the lies that they were already telling, honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have tried to call the police and lied to them, because the police actually were very much so involved in this situation. I continued with, I know you're reading this, so if you could please keep your man and his daughter away from this house while we finish, Thank you. So the reason that I threw her man in there, because she obviously knew that if he stepped foot on that property, we would have called the police. Like, that was just flat out, point blank, period. Got it. Honestly, we were told that we could have done it when the daughter was there as well, and we could have had her removed, but we allowed them to keep making themselves look like idiots walking in and out of the house. However, the reason that I threw the CEO into the mix was because he was sitting down the road at the park. Now, from the house, there was a street right in front of it, so if you went down it maybe like a block and a half, there was a massive park that had like a parking lot right there. He was sitting out there watching the whole time. He was sitting out there watching the whole time while Dustin and I were packing up our U-Haul to take to the moving place. Like, honestly, all we were trying to do was remove ourselves from a toxic situation, and it's like they were harassing us. They wanted to claim that I was harassing Jen. He put out a tweet that said that I made threats against her. Where? Where are the threats that I ever made against Jen? Oh, that's right, you don't have them. That's because they don't exist. Oh my gosh, another lie. Since we're on the topic of lies right now, let's talk about this one, because this one has to do with the cameras that were inside of the home. Because there were a few fake accounts that when this first started popping off online started popping up saying that we had illegally installed some kind of monitoring device in Jen's bedroom, saying that we installed cameras inside of the bathrooms, saying that we were spying on her whenever she was in there. What you don't know is that home came hardwired with cameras. They are all over every single community space in that house, but also there is one camera in her bedroom. Now, of course, the ex-friend has allowed people to think that we were watching her through a Google Home inside of her bedroom that we put in there. I'm going to get to that in a second, but that's very interesting that you said that we were watching you on the cameras and we were trying to spy on you, when the whole entire time when we were trying to move our shit out of that house, you were demanding that we turn the cameras back on. So much that you sent a text message to Dustin saying, "Don't make me come there." Or what? You called the police several times regarding those cameras, to which they said to you it's a civil matter and there's nothing that they can do about it. When we called, they definitely gave us the impression that they were sick of hearing from you, but they also let us know that it was a civil matter and we were allowed to keep them off because we were on the lease and we were getting our shit out of there. We were also told that if you came to the house and started acting up, they would have came and they would have removed you. Can we just talk about the police involvement in this situation real quick? On the 19th, she came back to the house. I saw the police officer pulling in the driveway. I'm like, okay, the police are here. Dustin went out and talked to them. Well, it turns out she had pulled in and she was parking inside of the garage. Now, you'll remember in the first half of this year, she broke her foot because she could not stay home during an ice storm. She had to have surgery on it. She was literally off her feet for several months and she was going to physical therapy, and she was honestly walking on that thing, walking all around California, all around Hollywood Boulevard. All of a sudden, when the police showed up, she had on this full leg compression sock. She had a limp. She was getting through that door like this, and I just turned around and I said, oh God. And honestly, that goes with what Letitia was saying in her video where she was talking about how they'll believe me because I'm a white lady with money and all of that.
She told me, this is coming from Jen, and Jen can't deny this because she knows all of my conversations are recorded. I've told her that several times. And I also, when I tell her, she continues to call. So Jennifer knows I'm not recording her without her knowledge. And Jennifer knows this. So I already know how Jennifer is. After this, she's going to, oh, they're all lying on me. Everybody's not lying on Jennifer. So I know for a fact that Jennifer said, I am a white female and people will believe me. That's what she said. Do you think all these people in Valencia, the radio station, the judges, and also the policemen are going to believe him over me? I'm a white female who has money. I can prove she said that. She can't lie.
Girl, I know it's a sidetrack, but let me tell you what she said when she came back to the house, because Dustin and I both stood there like away from her but talking to her. Now remember, during this whole entire time, she was very worried for her safety. The boyfriend and the daughter were so concerned for her safety that the daughter, who was going to have to seek a restraining order, came to the house 5 times just the day before. She said that she came back to the house because she wanted to make sure that we were not taking her things like the thermostats. The thermostats belonged to the house. She did not put those thermostats in. She thought that we were going to take her purple towels as well as her purple bedding. What was funny about it though, it was one of those situations, you know, when someone's trying to like give you a name and it's just something that they saw around the room. As she was saying that she came back to make sure that we weren't taking her thermostats, the eyes were shifty all around the room looking for something to say. Nobody wanted your shit. What we wanted to do was just get our stuff and get out of there in a timely manner. I also find it very funny that you were trying to put on this victim mentality online, that you were just a battered old lady and everyone was coming after you for no reason. I just find it so interesting that somebody that was so concerned for their safety that went online to try to run with that narrative, so hopefully people would turn against us and think that we were just coming after the nice Christian lady. You sure did stay at the house on the 19th by yourself. You and your dog. And you also sure did stick around on the 20th when we were finalizing packing our stuff up and putting it on the truck. You were trying to walk around the house and pretend that you did clean. You never cleaned shit. You had a maid. You literally had the same person that works at your warehouse come to the house and clean. So the fact that you really tried to start the narrative online that you always were left to clean up after myself and Dustin is so comical. You could not even clean up your own dog's piss and your own dog's shit. I know that when I posted a picture of Yogi's shit inside of the house when you were trying to tell everyone that we were deadbeats and we hadn't been paying you anything for like the longest time, your dog's shit was everywhere in that house. Your dog's piss is all over that brand new couch that you bought in 2022. Your dog's piss is all over every single part of the outside of that house to the point where it stinks. Back in 2022, you and I got into an argument because I had just bought really nice patio furniture, and the one thing that we agreed upon when we moved into that house was that Yogi needed to go out front because the back is where everybody was going to be spending the time, and it was going to smell like his alkaline piss because all you do is give him alkaline water. And you agreed to that. You're like, I will let him out the front door. It was literally the same distance for you to go to the front door to the back door, and instead what you did was you just let him out there and close the door because it was cold. You didn't want to watch him, so he pissed all over everything. That wasn't just for me and everyone else that was going to be going and hanging out back there. That was because that house is a rental, and I'm sure the man that is trying to sell his home for over $1 million when the lease comes up is not going to want to have to deal with your dog's piss being baked into shit. Y'all, let me just talk about this dog shit and piss real quick. I have numerous text messages where I would literally send a picture and be like, Yogi had an accident, Yogi pissed on the cabinets again, Yogi pissed on his water bowl again.
Girl, I walked in here and I was like, I smell shit. And he was just outside. There's shit everywhere. Oh my God.
This lady tried to send photos from the office that was downstairs on the carpet. You had her bedroom and then it went down the hallway and that was where her office was. I don't know why she needed an office. She didn't ever do anything in an office like that. But when the door was open, the dog would go in there sometimes and he would take a shit. So she literally had the nerve to take a picture of dog shit that was in this office, massive mounds of shit, and then there were like trails of smaller shit that were around it because he had an upset stomach. Because you guys, if you even knew what the she fed this dog, that house smelled so disgusting every single time that she would cook this food. Honestly, we cook our dog's food and it smells good. That's all that human grade. We could eat it if we really wanted to if times got tough. She sent those photos to Peter Mont to tell him to keep them for safekeeping. That doesn't seem malicious, but you should have told him that it was your own dog shit, because our dogs were never allowed downstairs. Ask anybody that went to that house. Our dogs were either in the game room, our bedroom, or they were hanging out on the stairs right there by the kitchen with a gate across it. You, in the whole time that we were in Texas, never even pet those dogs one time. Do you guys want to know the reason as to why she never pet those dogs in the entire time that we were in Texas? Because she told us that Yogi would get upset and he would get angry at her, so she couldn't touch the purse dogs. So our dogs were literally made to be away from us unless we were outside with them or we were upstairs with them. A lot of the time, we were downstairs, so our dogs didn't even get to spend time with us. I'm about to have to go inside because the sun is going down. Do you guys want to know the reason as to why she said that the dog was having so many accidents around the house? Because he was trying to tell us something. Well, no fucking shit. Do you know what he was trying to tell you specifically? He was trying to let you know that he needed to go outside more because you were not placing him into the proper space for him to actually use the bathroom. If he was trying to tell anybody anything, he was trying to let you know that you are a piss poor dog parent when it comes to letting your dog outside. And please don't try to say I'm lying, because let's not forget that Paige's son slipped in a puddle of your dog's piss. Never mind, I decided to stay outside because I'm enjoying this rain a little bit too much. In Texas, it never rained. You would literally get like maybe 3 or 4 times a year where you would get rain. The summer was complete torture. It was like Satan's asshole. But I want to get back to the cameras real quick, because she was alluding to, her boyfriend was alluding to, we were watching her through these cameras, we were monitoring her. That's very interesting, because on Sunday, September 17th, you text us and you asked, do you have the admin access for the cameras? Meaning, do you have the access to sign in and view what is going on the cameras? I said, I never had it. Which was true. Not one time when we were living in that house did I ever have an app or did I ever have a login for the cameras or even for the front door. I never even accepted the invite to it. Dustin responded and said, no, it logged me out months ago and I never got it again. She responded and said, that's what I thought. I realized a little while ago that you might not be able to get them back on. So how exactly are we watching you through these cameras if we don't even have access to the cameras? But numerous times you were texting us demanding that these cameras were turned back on. Do you know what you were doing that for? So you could watch us with your creepy boyfriend. So you could spy on us and see what we were saying. She literally tattled on us for having the cameras off to the landlord. She called him up and was like, can you please have them turn them back on? They're moving out of there and I don't know if they're taking my stuff. All of this, Dustin called the landlord and spoke to him and he was like, there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do, but could you please turn them back on so she could at least feel a little bit better? And we agreed to do it. We turned those cameras back on at 6 a.m. on the 19th. Y'all, September 19th was so eventful. Dustin talked to the landlord before we went to sleep at 6 a.m. because we were literally staying up all night each night packing our shit. So after we woke up, honestly, I shouldn't even send this text message to her because she could have just found out for herself. But I text her around 1:23 p.m. and I said, Dustin spoke to the landlord. The cameras have been on since 6 a.m. when we went to sleep. We have stuff around the house as we are packing and separating the things we don't want to take. If you come back today, can you please not have your boyfriend or his daughter in tow? We are trying to get everything out of here ASAP and don't have that much more to go. There is no hostility on our end regarding you. Our response was nothing more than out of concern for a person we care about. In regards to us leaving furniture, can you please let me know which you were referring to and the amount you'd remove from the tally for each item? Thank you. And then, because that was the first thing that I texted when I woke up, I went on social media and I went over to Twitter and guess what? She was continuing to run her mouth on Twitter. She was trying to make up lies and character assassinate me. So I texted her back after I saw that and I said, actually, we would prefer you not to be here as we are removing our items to leave this toxic, dangerous situation. It's clear you're only looking to further have arguments and tell lies. We should be done by today and I will let you know. If you come here and start with any bullshit, I will call the police again to let them know the situation. So it's like she wanted us to do all these things to help her and to benefit her, but she was going to continue to go online and try to trash our name. So immediately we turned the cameras back off, and the way that we were shutting them off was actually through the Wi-Fi routers. They tried to say that we were going into room, going into her closet and unplugging them. Those cameras were never unplugged. They were literally turned off from the router. Another lie. But I want to talk about these Google Homes real quick because there was a major lie surrounding these. Number one, our ex-friend does not even like Google Homes. She definitely does not like Alexa. Number two, trying to tell people that we had installed one in her bedroom and we were watching her through the camera. Well, I am here to let you guys know that she actually mailed all of these devices back to us. So thank you for that because I get to now show it in this video for everyone. I'm going to tell you exactly what rooms these were in. She asked Dustin if we would leave the Google Home so she wouldn't have to replace them. We all know the reason why you were wanting us to leave those is because you thought you were going to go on there and get videos. And even if you were able to get some kind of video, what are you going to prove? That we're stoned all the time in the kitchen? So this is the one from the kitchen. This is the Google Hub Max. This one actually had its camera shut off because we actually caught our ex-friend one time looking at us through the camera. She was not aware that when somebody is actually viewing the camera right here, it will tell you. There's a bar that goes across the Google Home. It will literally alert you to the fact that somebody is watching the camera. This is the second Google Hub Max that we had in the house. This one was upstairs on the second floor inside of the game room, literally facing the back wall. So again, not in her room. This is the one that Dustin and I had in our bedroom. Obviously no camera. This is the Google speaker that we had upstairs in the theater room, and obviously no camera. This is the one that our ex-friend had in her bedroom. Do you guys see a camera anywhere on this device? I didn't think so because it doesn't exist. If you were looking here in the middle of it, that's a sensor. Wow, another lie debunked. Another fun fact about the Google Hub that was inside of our ex-friend's bedroom, it had actually been unplugged for days. She told Dustin the reason that it was unplugged, whenever she was on the phone with her boyfriend, he would talk to his Google and it would make hers go off. So he was already getting into her head about us before we even brought our concerns about him to her. Another interesting fact, on top of our ex-friend saying this to a lot of people behind the scenes, she sent Rosalie a voice memo and literally ignored what Rosalie was saying in hers. You've heard that Rosalie voice memo throughout this. It was a very serious one. She sent her a voice memo back and she was telling her how she handed her phone to this man and he was saying that Dustin was going in and he was adding things into the Google Homes after we were not there, after we had been out of the house for hours. I find that to be a very interesting thing to say because I went into my own Google history and I looked up all of the Google notifications for around that time. I have one right here from September 19th at 11:01 p.m. before we even left the house, from Dustin adding a new Google Hub Max to the house because we had taken the Wi-Fi down because of your man. Let's not forget that. Then I have one on September 20th at 7:39 a.m. again not when we left the house. We had not left the house. Do you want to know why there was a Google Home added on September 20th at 7:39 a.m.? It was installed right outside of our bedroom door because we were leaving the house to go and get the U-Haul truck, and we were going to be leaving to go to where we were putting our stuff. Now, another little interesting fact, I'm not sure if you knew that we were going to receive an email about this. By the way, the cameras that you were trying to say that we were watching you through and your man was literally in your head having you believe that we were watching you through these cameras, I have an email from Google on September 20th at 8:53 p.m. and it says, "Heads up, a camera has been removed from your account." Moving right along. I have another one on September 20th from 8:54 p.m. that says, "Heads up, a camera has been removed from your account." So again, how were we watching you through any of these devices? And another little fun fact about that, before we left Texas, our ex-friend asked, because the internet was in my name, so I was the one paying the bill, she asked if we could leave it on until she was able to get like everything situated for her. I said, okay, fine. I was done with the situation. Okay, fine. That's great. How long do you think it's going to take you? She told me the amount of days that she thought it was going to take. Immediately when Dustin and I left that house on September 20th, and we were leaving for the final time, he was driving the U-Haul out and I was driving our car out as well. The man who I told you guys was sitting down the road at the park and that was watching us the whole time as we were getting our shit out of that house immediately started online, immediately started going on Twitter and started, this is a little weird, he started following back every single person that was interacting with any of our tweets about this. Any of the tweets that we were responding to the bullshit that our ex-friend and this man were trying to do behind the scenes, but a lot of it was this man on Twitter with what he was trying to run his mouth. Because something about our ex-friend is she doesn't want to get her hands dirty and she wants you to believe that she is this nice little innocent lady and she can trick you. We were duped for fucking years, but she tries to have everybody do her dirty work. Even when Rosalie was talking to her about this, she was like, I haven't said anything. Check my Twitter. Check my Twitter. I told you guys earlier, she's trying to make it seem like she is continuously getting attacked when all people are doing is responding to the bullshit that she is doing behind the scenes. The lies and literal slander and defamation that she is trying to tell people behind the scenes. So after this man started on Twitter, we knew that he was down at the park. Obviously, the first place he's gonna go is right down to the house to fill her head with some more lies. And he was continuing on Twitter. So when we were like a few hours into our journey, because we told everyone that we did have a flight out that night, that was just because we were not about to risk it letting people know that we were driving when this lady has our license plate and all of that information. Certainly the not. So after we were a few hours into our drive, our friends were updating us on what was being said on Twitter and social media, like Reddit as well. That man, as well as the ex-friend a little bit, were on social media telling more lies about myself and about Dustin. The funniest one was that we were running from a cease and desist, a restraining order, as well as a lawsuit. I think a lot of people forget, and it's actually funny because the ex-friend knows about this and she laughed about this. I received a cease and desist in 2020 from Teresa Romer, an actual millionaire, okay? An actual person that has their own company. And I literally went on camera and burned that in my kitchen sink. So please tell me why I would be running from a cease and desist. So after our friends told us what this man and our ex-friend were saying on social media, I said, oh no, not on Beyonce's internet and certainly not the on mine. So I called up Spectrum and I got a little petty and I put a vacation hold on that shit. You're not gonna go on my internet and talk shit about me and make up lies. So you know how I've been saying that this person had reached out to drama channels and as well as her man reached out to drama channels? I mean, you guys saw in the beginning, the tea time, check your email. The two that I'm always referring to is Peter Mon as well as Rich Lux. Now, one of these drama channels was told when they were contacted by our ex-friend that she will not be returning the Spectrum modems that she already agreed to return. Now, if that's her version of getting petty, bitch, really? I literally put a vacation hold, so what you're trying to do is my credit, which actually goes with what you said to Dustin prior to us leaving. One of us has to have good credit. I have to say, I think it's comical that you reached out to, of all people, Rich Lux, to try to get him to make a video about this situation, to like sell him your side of the story. It's comical to me because all you do is talk shit about Rich Lux, that he cost you a lot of money and he really pisses you off for that reason. So the fact that you're trying to recruit someone that you don't like, which is actually funny because you don't like tea time, but your boyfriend recruited them to make videos by sending them emails about lies and shit about us. It's actually so funny because you don't even like Drama Investigator either. And your boyfriend literally reached out to her and sent her a bunch of shit about us so she would make videos. And she made 2 videos. The first video was about the situation at hand.
This whole situation is getting ultra mega super messy. I have now been emailed multiple multiple emails. If you guys want a video on those emails I was sent by Ginger Ryd's boyfriend, let me know in the comments. Today, however, we're just going to be reading public receipts.
And the second video was reading off his emails because she began to pick up the really weird, sketchy vibe that we were getting.
Ginger Ryd's boyfriend is not happy and he is suing. He sent me an email with a cease and desist letter, receipts I guess you could say, screenshots and more.
So again, how am I, Dustin, or anyone for that matter, trying to with your brand? Because it seems like you're trying to do what Letitia said that you like to do and try to make it so people can't make money on social media by trying to ruin our credibility and trying to have our peers make videos on us with the bullshit that you're spewing. Did you notice how there really haven't been any videos made about this situation other than the videos where your man or you reached out to a drama channel? That's because we were trying to leave this off the internet as much as possible. You are the one that wants to keep this going. You are the one that is contacting people that are close to certain individuals and trying to scare them for their friend. You literally contacted Rosalie's husband to tell him that you are worried about her and her mental health because myself and Vanessa are manipulating her. You were trying to get him to tell her not to come to Florida to see us after all of this went down because we were going to manipulate her and we were going to be so mean to her and just awful. What's so interesting about that for me is leading up to when Rosalie was here, she was receiving a lot of hate over on her Facebook. And do you know what stopped when Rosalie touched down in Florida? The hate. And then do you remember when you called Rosalie's friend and you were trying to convince her that it's like so weird that the hate stopped for Rosalie when she was here, implying that we were the ones that were doing it? You were literally telling on yourself. Once we got away from Texas, it was like a weight was lifted. I know I've received a ton of comments since we've actually been out of Texas that a lot of you out there can see that Dustin and I seem a lot happier. I genuinely do believe that the person that we were living with, and I'm not even trying to be shady, I do think that she has a dark cloud around her. And the reason that I say that is because out of nowhere, she started to get like into very like spiritual stuff. She was talking about like the moon water, doing the salt around the house, blow the cinnamon in the door, get a mirror, have it facing out, put the cinnamon in the ground out of the front door, light the candles. Now, admittedly, I do enjoy lighting the candles, the ones where you write on them and all of that. I think it's great. However, I don't think that when she wrote on her candles, she had like good intentions because it didn't work. I'm just saying, when we got to Texas, she told us a story that after a few nights when she was in that house that burned down, she literally woke up out of a dead sleep and heard something from across the house. It was like a 7,000 square foot house. She heard something scream, "Leave." And then after being there, I don't even know how long it was like right in the beginning, she slipped on the tile that was in the front of the house and completely split her lip all the way down. Had to go to the hospital and get some stitches. It seems that falling seems to be the thing. When she went to the office, when it was literally ice outside, she slipped and fell and broke her ankle. She fell again after her surgery. All I'm saying is I think that she's getting in way too over her head with that stuff, and I don't think it's having the outcome that she is expecting. I think it's having the exact opposite of what she wants, because every time that she does one of those candles or something, it's always about money. She wants money, 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 money. It's not working. And by the way, the little mirror that you put on the front of your house that your psychic friend told you to put there, you should get a mirror. It's literally a piece of foil that you put there. It's not a mirror. You can't see anything in it. Another thing that I want to say about Drama Investigator's video, in one of the emails that she received from our ex-friend's boyfriend, it literally said about the cease and desist, the cease and desist that we were running from. By the way, when I received the cease and desist from Teresa Romer back in 2020, you know how they delivered it to me? By text message. And it's a little interesting that I didn't receive any kind of cease and desist or anything about a restraining order or anything about a lawsuit when they could have gotten the gate because they would have had the code because of our ex-friend and the boyfriend. Wow. Wow. But in this email, he also sent this cease and desist, which, by the way, I was like watching Jacqueline's video where she was talking about the lipstick, where she was like sitting really far back from the camera trying to like show you shit. And it was extremely fuzzy as hell. Well, you'll see my name, Dustin's name, as well as Vanessa's. And then you see one that is blacked out. Now that was Rosalie. So in the email, he was saying that she was being cooperative and she was going to be a witness and she was going to help them basically come after myself, Dustin, and Vanessa and sue us. Well, I don't know, but have y'all been hearing Rosalie all throughout this video? Another lie debunked. So our ex-friend finally shut up on Twitter and started to like tweet out a bunch of like pictures of puppies, because that's like always her thing. Oh, the puppies, they're so cute, all of that. Trying to push down all the tweets that she had been putting out about us to make it seem like she wasn't saying anything else. Well, all the people that you called behind the scenes that let us know tells a different story. So the CEO kept going on Twitter, and one of the things that he was saying was, setting the record straight after scumbag Nick Snyder makes false allegations about my daughter. She was never suicidal. That is a massive lie. You're right. It is a massive lie. But you know who told the lie? Your girlfriend. Our ex-friend. Because remember what she also said to Rosalie and Paige about side, and then the next day told Rosalie she was just saying that to get the heat off of her. Yeah, another lie from your girlfriend. Number 2, she accompanied because we were concerned by the threats Nick made against. Again, this is about the day that the daughter came to the house, the same day that he texted saying that they were going to get a restraining order. When she woke up, I'm still waiting to see these threats that I made against. She had been in contact with the police, by the way, so I'm sure she would have brought them up to them then. Number 3, no employee said any of the BS you claim. That's interesting because what does this sound like?
She was everything. She would have her phone on speakerphone, and I remember saying, I don't want you alone, man. What if they drugged you?
And then this one was so comical. So I tweeted out, if y'all are wondering why there was initial concern over the man lying to our friend out of her own mouth told numerous people this man was the CEO of Deutsche Bank and AMD Avalon processors. Yet there's no documentation online linking him to any of those companies. That's just the first red flag. So this man took my tweet, took like a screenshot of it, tweeted it out and said, first I was the guy telling them that I was the CEO of Deutsche and AMD. Now they claim that Jen said it. Lies piling up.
Are you slow?
Let me clear this up for you because it's clear you're not able to understand certain things. So let me just clear this up for you. When I said he told her that he was the CEO of this bank, he told her that he was the CEO of AMD Avalon processors and whatever the else you said, I am saying that you verbally said that to our ex-friend. And then our ex-friend turned around and told myself, Dustin, Rosalie, and many other people. So I am not saying, I'm talking slow for you. I am not saying that you told us that. That's not what I'm saying. We never had that conversation, sir. I'm saying that you told her. Okay? Are we clear? You good? Stop whatever you are smoking or whatever. You have zero credibility, Nick. Keep your lies consistent. The rest of the lies adds to the libel. So after the CEO went on for a few days on social media, he actually realized that nobody was believing the cease and desist. Nobody was believing the restraining order. Nobody was believing the fact that there was a lawsuit. So he decided, after all that he said, saying that he witnessed the drug use and all this kind of stuff, he took to Twitter to say the following. The one good thing that emerged from this drama is that so many people burned by Nick Snyder, Dusty, and Paige came together. Project Shady Nick will debut soon. It will be an amazingly well-documented omni-media presence about his lies, misdeeds, he meant misdeeds, cover-ups, backstab. Thank you for the invite. And then there's another one, this one's good too. Having just learned that Nick Snyder, Dusty, and Paige felt that it was a great idea to have their followers contact my company's clients, the ones listed in case studies, etc., I now feel that it's okay to reach out to employers, sponsors, suppliers, etc. Let the games begin. Now that's very interesting about the suppliers because, who would know what our candle supplier was? Because we were going to do the candles. We've actually been trying to start these candles, and every single time that we go to want to start it, something comes up. It's so funny to me though, because you were literally trying to make everyone believe that you were gathering information because you were going to file a lawsuit against us because you didn't like the fact that we had concerns about you and we gave those concerns to our friend. So it once again is another new day. I have not spent every single day on this video, you guys. I have taken my time with this because I am not focused on this. I have other things going on in my life. The person in question from this video is obsessing. I just found out the other day that she is still continuing to talk to her employees about this, still continuing to make her employees watch videos on this matter to see what people are saying about her. I don't think that is in their job description. But anyways, let's get back to this video because I just read you guys the tweet from the boyfriend that said, Project Shady Nick will debut soon. It was going to be an omni-media experience. So what I'm assuming is he thought that Drama Investigator, Tea Time, and all these other channels were going to continue to talk about this, continue to paint myself and Dustin in a negative light. Although Drama Investigator's videos did not paint us in a negative light at all, which is how we got to what I'm about to talk about next, because would you be surprised? Like, if you went over to Drama Investigator's channel, if you looked for these videos of this situation, you will find that they are no longer on her channel. Do you want to know why they are no longer on her channel? After the video went live on Drama Investigator's channel, where she was reading off the emails that the ex-friend's boyfriend of 17 days sent over to her, the people that were on the fence with the situation, that when they actually listened and saw on the screen what these emails were saying, they started to think that this man was crazy as well. And they were right. And by the way, Dustin and myself were accused of reaching out to Drama Investigator by the boyfriend and probably the ex-friend because she was right in his ear, just letting him say everything online so that at the end of the day, it would be him that people would go after and she could still say that her hands were clean. But we were accused of reaching out to Drama Investigator to manipulate her. They love to say that people are manipulating people, but they don't realize that they're the ones that are actually doing it. You're literally accusing people of so much and then turning around and doing the things that you are accusing them of. That's psycho. It's giving manic. So after the comments were turning against this man and they were calling him out saying, no, he is creepy. No, he is crazy. Oh my God, no, he is a psycho. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a false copyright claim was placed on Drama Investigator's videos. She put over on her Instagram story about it. But you know what the interesting thing is about this false copyright claim is that the name of the person, their last name is Delgado, the same way that Rosalie spells it. That's so crazy. What a coincidence. And do you want to know the reason as to why there was a false copyright claim placed on this video? Because of a photo that was used inside of the video. Now, this is going to be this is very important, because there's actually some drama going on with this on social media right now as well. There was a photo used in the thumbnail as well as in the video. It was the man and his daughter on a motorcycle where you could literally look at the lens of his sunglasses and see that his arm was reached out holding something to take the photo. The copyright claim was placed under this Delgado person's name, saying that they owned the copyright to that photo. And how did they own the copyright? Because they took the photo of this man, the man and the daughter having daddy-daughter time on the motorcycle. And so he owned the copyright to it, and he took the photo for the motorcycle club, which actually brings me to my next point, because you guys know that Paige has been having her issues with our ex-friend trying to get the pictures removed of her auntie that passed away. Well, if you've been following along with that situation, then you know the estate actually had to reach out to this company to try to get the pictures removed. It was literally requested that the estate reached out so that they could try to have the pictures removed to prove that they own the pictures and not the fucking company. Do you know how sick that is? Do you know how twisted that is? And did you guys know, because a few employees have actually told us this, that the reason that those photos have been up until literally yesterday, which was the day that Paige's brother had to have surgery, was because she was doing it to prove a point. That's what she told her employees. She was keeping the photos up of a woman that passed away out of spite, and she was proving a point. It's actually really sad when people that are 20 years younger than you, and some of them even younger than that, are acting in a much better way than you are. Your behavior, ex-friend, as a brand owner, you would literally rather have your brand ran through the mud to try to prove a point to keep some photos up. Like, think about that for a minute. You are literally trying to have people hate on your brand and cause drama online for your brand. Maybe you thought that the drama was going to bring some sales for you, but that's not what's happening. People are literally waking up and realizing that the person that they thought you were was a complete lie. Because you know what? A good Christian woman wouldn't be proving a point by using the pictures of a woman who passed away. And they definitely would not be trying to have an attorney reach out so the estate can get involved as well. Has Paige's family not gone through enough with the passing of the auntie? But her brother, who just had to have open heart surgery literally 2 days ago, then you decided to take it down on the day that he's having the open heart surgery. Wow, you're so generous. I also noticed that you removed the pictures of Dustin, which you said you would have removed in September. You actually said that you did remove them in September, and then they magically appeared at the beginning of December again. So you were trying to prove another point. The only thing you're proving is that you're really immature, and you obviously don't care about your business, because you're literally trying to tarnish it by acting like an immature child. So I had to jump in right now as I was editing, because I wanted to read you guys these emails, because you know that there is an attorney that is having issue with Paige, but she's also having issue with the Do We Know Them podcast and a lot of people over on TikTok. Well, I have my own story about this attorney, because in 2022, her firm did a trademark for me for the viewer's voice, and that was literally the only thing that I ever used her for. Well, the reason that I even knew about her was because of the ex-friend, the brand owner that I'm talking about in this video. She was like, hey, she can do your trademark for a good price. Why don't you have it done? Well, this actually falls right in with the Drama Investigator video, because as I said, there was a false copyright claim to take down that video. The next day, literally the next morning, I received an email from this attorney, and do you guys know what it said? I'm just gonna give you guys like a little excerpt from it. I'm not gonna put it up on the screen or anything, but it says, I understand you are contacting Cosmetics Inc. employees and telling them they need to leave because at the least they will be poisoned if they stay. Very interesting, because you have heard the voices of employees say that the man was on speakerphone saying that Dustin and myself were going to be the ones that actually poisoned the ex-friend. Poison has come up a lot for some reason. I've never talked about poison so much in my life. This is crazy. I also understand you have been posting untrue statements about owner of Cosmetics Inc. on Twitter and YouTube. Here is one example. So if you actually click the link to the tweet that she used as a reference to this slander and just going after the smear campaign that was going on about this brand owner, it's my tweet, and it says, this was on, what day was this? This was on October 1st, 2023. I tweeted this out at 5:20 p.m. I said, Operation Shady Nick has commenced. Take a look at how awful I am. Also have a listen to how crazy this person actually is. P.S. We never received a C&D, cease and desist. How do you even run from a restraining order, and didn't run from a lawsuit? So when you actually click the link to the video that this goes to, it was in reference to Drama Investigator's video where she was reading off the emails that the boyfriend sent her. The one that had the false copyright claim that I just told you guys about from the Delgado. That's literally the tweet that she used as reference to try to say that I was slandering this brand owner. But it was nothing more than pushing attention to a video of the emails that that man was trying to send out to channels that he thought was going to make him look like an amazing person. So how is this me slandering someone? It's actually your client's boyfriend, probably at the command of your client, trying to harass us and trying to actually slander us online. So I called it Operation Shady Nick. He was calling it Project Shady Nick. Shame on me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I used the wrong word. I said operation instead of project. Oh my. But let's continue because this gets better. As you are well aware, my firm represents Gerard Cosmetics. Your online activities appear to be a smear campaign against my client and potentially blackmail. It appears you have also recruited others to further the smear campaign as well as blackmail my client. She literally sent me Paige's Twitter. Like, she could have just said Paige Christie, because after that she said, and her mother, Miss Forbes. I am deeply saddened by what I have seen in it rendering my firm's representation of your company as unethical. You want to say that we're unethical, but your little client over there and her man are trying to ruin people behind the scenes. We're unethical? As such, my firm is immediately terminating the representation of your LLC. You honestly cannot make this shit up. I'm sorry, there's like a military helicopter going behind me, but you cannot make this shit up. A law firm literally sent an email and accused twice. One time she said potential blackmail, and the other time there was no potential in front of it. It was just blackmail. So which one is it? Is it potentially blackmailing someone, or is it just flat out blackmail? Because that is a very bold accusation to throw out at someone. I actually responded to this email. I'm gonna read it to you in a second. That's a very bold accusation to throw out there when there is no evidence and no proof of that. Nobody, including Paige and her mother, wanted anything out of this situation except for your client to leave us the fuck alone. And on Paige's family's behalf, they wanted the photos removed of the deceased auntie. That's not too much to ask. Nothing else was being asked for except for that. Interesting that this attorney is wrapped up in all this drama on TikTok as well as on YouTube for false copyright claims on people's videos. And the day before she sends this email, a false copyright claim got placed on the Drama Investigator video. But also, is that not that's just such crazy timing that you sent that the day after. Anyways, this is my response. Thank you for the email update. I wasn't planning on using your services for anything else. In regards to your first paragraph giving an example of me trashing your client, I would ask that you as an attorney actually do some better research, as your example was me tweeting a video out of a creator, Drama Investigator, reading Gerard's boyfriend's emails that he sent to creators as a smear campaign. He also admitted he was going to try and take us down online. I find it very interesting that is the tweet you sent as an example just the day after the video was removed for a false copyright claim, where that creator is now taking legal action against the boyfriend, which we have the video downloaded. Attaches the proof to back up my claims in this email, including the tweets from your client's boyfriend stating, and I quote, I now feel it's okay to reach out to employers, sponsors, suppliers, etc. Operation Shady Nick will debut soon. It was Project Shady Nick. I'm so sorry, I misspoke. Project Operation, who cares? I'm not sure if you thought Operation Shady Nick was something I came up with to speak about this situation, but anytime it has been used has been either from Gerard's boyfriend, screenshot of tweet attached, or me calling attention to a video where his emails were read. I also find it very telling that you didn't send the tweet of me distancing myself from the brand, but telling my followers to continue their support if they love the products. How convenient. Isn't that convenient? In case your client lies to you about not knowing who that Twitter account belongs to, I have included a screenshot of her still following his account. Anything placed onto my social media has been a response to your client's lies and slander behind the scenes, which is exactly why I'm addressing everything in this video, because there are more lies and slander going on behind the scenes. I understand you are contacting Inc. employees and telling them they need to leave because at the least they will be poisoned if they stay. This statement is a complete lie and no one has ever told an employee that they would be poisoned. However, 2 employees, named the employees, did speak about how they overheard a phone call, which you guys have now heard the recording, did speak about they overheard a phone call on speaker of the boyfriend telling he was worried about her being alone with us as we could be poisoning/drugging her. The employees' names redacted. Also stated they were worried about cameras being hidden in the office as there's a new sound beeping every so often. Anytime we have spoke with employees' names redacted, who we also are friends with as well, we have let them know the call is being recorded as we know how shady the other side can be and to have it for our protection. There is no further communication with your client, Gerard. However, she has been making phone calls to mutuals, including YouTube channels, trying to get them on her side. Some examples of her attempts to slander my name include, but are not limited to, alleging hard drug use, abusing my partner Dustin Daly and her, watching her through cameras we have no access to, deadbeats who never paid for anything, which is all documented. Any transfers of money to your client during our time in Texas have been gathered, and the ones she spoke to will be more than happy to give a statement should need be. I want to go back and touch on something from the 20th real quick, because before we actually left the house, I did a live final walkthrough of the house. I did not go in in the ex-friend's bedroom. I did not go down the hallway where I would have to walk by the ex-friend's room, which is where the office was that she tried to tell Peter Mon we were allowing our dogs to shit in. But I did a live walkthrough over on Instagram, and I actually text the ex-friend that I was going to be doing this like hours before, like when we were done, I'm doing a live walkthrough so she could see the destruction that was being alluded to online was not actually happening and that she was full of shit once again. And in this walkthrough, y'all, I was literally pointing at the ceiling. I was pointing at all the walls. I was even showing the floor. I said in this walkthrough, I'm going to point this down at the floor because I know this person and I know they're going to try something, and I'm protecting us right now because she's not going to say that we destroyed this house. Which another funny thing about destroying this house is I had sound panels up in one of the closets, and if you literally rip them off of the wall, they will literally take off the paint with it. That's how they removed those. Oh yeah, they ripped them off the wall so that it would be damaged so she could try to charge us for it. After Dustin and I left the house and this live had been up on Instagram for a few hours, Dustin received a text from our ex-friend asking to please remove that video from social media because her stalker was going to find her, and her stalker, who she left California and came to Texas for, which by the way, the reason that she actually moved to Texas was because of the no income tax, but also she does not like California anymore. She actually says it's a shithole, and don't even get her started on Gavin Newsom. And the reason that I'm even bringing this stalker up that she has, which is a man that she was in a lawsuit with, that she actually lost the lawsuit and she has to pay a lot of money to, which she is actively, and this is not me making this up because she literally talks about this in front of every single person that she meets. She has been trying to set that man up for a good long while, and that is the truth.
She gave me $600 cash one day and said, go put a tracker on your ex's car.
When Dustin and Paige were in California with her, she was meeting up with one of his exes named Vanessa because she wanted to take a picture with her because it would trigger him. Because if he says something online allegedly, then he's not going to be able to spend the money in the way that he wants to. She has set it up that she somehow gets to dictate how he spends this money. But there was another person on that trip, and right in front of that person, our ex-friend was talking about how she is going to try to set this man up.
She was saying when we were driving to LA, she was saying that the night before she had ex-girlfriend Vanessa over to the house and they were taking pictures together, and she wanted somebody to post that on social media so that Sean would see it and he would get triggered, and then it would be easier for her to get an order against him.
So tell me, if somebody is actually scared of a stalker and they're so worried that they're going to find out where they are and all this kind of shit, why are you trying to set him up? Why are you trying to poke the bear? But the reason that I even bring the stalker up is because I'm calling bullshit once again. She texts Dustin to say, can you please remove that for my safety because of the stalker? You guys know that I moved here because of the stalker, all this kind of shit. Do you guys know that in 2022, when Rosalie and a bunch of other influencers came to the house, she allowed them to walk through the house and do a live stream and open up closets, pantries, and just everything and show everywhere? And do you know that after she texted Dustin and asked me to remove that because the stalker could be watching and he could find her, she did her own walkthroughs. She showed all around that house. So you're not scared of the stalker actually looking on your social media, the person that he's obsessed with? So now I want to talk about how Peter Mon is actually involved in this situation, because what our ex-friend did not know and was not expecting to hear on the phone was that Peter and Dustin had actually been in contact since days before any of this was even brought to our friend's attention. Dustin reached out to him to get his opinion on what he should do and if he should bring this to the attention of our ex-friend. So Dustin and Peter had talked about this for a good long while. So every single lie ex-friend that you tried to manipulate Peter with on the phone was backfiring, and every single thing that you said to him on the phone, which he let you know, I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell them, and you said that was okay. Well, let's start with this part that he told us actually, because you guys have heard us like make the joke about like, oh, what do you know about dabs on social media for the past few months. Now, there's not a lot of backstory into the reason as to why we say that. Well, our ex-friend, in one of these phone calls that she had with Peter Mon, which by the way, after she started to realize that he was not going to make the videos that she was wanting him to make, and he was not taking the information that she was trying to give him and running with it, she stopped calling him. The same thing happened with Rich Lux. Well, towards the end of one of these phone calls, she had the audacity and the nerve to ask Peter Mon what he knows about dabs. Now, it's a little interesting that you would try to bring that up to Peter, who is very vocal. Congratulations on 29 years, Peter, who is very vocal about his sobriety. Could it be that you were trying to get into someone's head that I was using drugs because you also told Rosalie that you thought that our bedroom smelled like meth? You have literally tried to tell people that I was using meth and that our bedroom smelled like meth so many times, and it has gotten back to me every single time. So on this call, the ex-friend was like, what do you know about dabs? I find it very funny, ex-friend, that you're going around trying to slander my name and try to tell people that I am doing meth and trying to allude that dabs might be something a little bit more than what they seem. If you're going to continue to say that behind the scenes to people to try to character assassinate me, why don't you continue the story? Why don't you tell them about how the dabs and your edibles, but also the fact that you always offer people some whenever they come over to the house, just the same way that you offered Paige and Adderall? Why don't you tell people that when you were in Colorado doing the Sesh podcast, you were actually going into the dispensary and you text me to ask me to send you your dog's little like vest thing so he could go in as well as a service dog? Why don't you tell people that you were actually the one supplying them? Why don't you tell people that the way that those were getting delivered to Texas was under your name as well as your business? You were just slapping labels on stuff because remember, FedEx and UPS don't open their packages right. This is actually very disgusting to me because if you've been on this channel for a while, then you know on social media and on this channel, I've been very vocal about my sobriety. And in 2019, I actually almost died from a drug overdose when I relapsed and I did meth. Literally what she is trying to accuse me of, because the easiest thing to do to somebody that's been vocal about their sobriety and then vocal about their addiction is try to discredit them by saying they're using again. What's funny about this is my ex-friend knows that in the past when people have accused me of it, I've literally got on camera and done a piss test. So when we got back to Florida, the first thing that we did, I went to CVS and I bought one of those drug tests that you can literally test for however many drugs it is. And I whipped my dick out on Twitter and I pissed in that cup. And there were no cuts in that video. The only thing you saw was a sensor over my junk, which is just another lie that's debunked because that drug test, the only thing that it showed that I had in my system was THC. How awkward for you that you literally tried to go around and tell people that the house smelled like meth. That's kind of crazy. And then you asked Rosalie if she knew what meth smelled like. Bitch, do you? Do you know what it smells like? That's a little bit crazy because if you do, it's a little concerning. And actually, Peter Mon told me one time, and I actually think about it whenever someone tries to do this to me. He said that when somebody brings up your sobriety, I'm paraphrasing this, when somebody brings up your sobriety and it's in a negative way, they are practically wishing death upon the person they are talking about. Again, this is a good Christian woman, y'all. First of all, you do not need to be speculating on my sobriety or anybody else's sobriety for that matter. And if we're going to be in the business of speculating on people's sobriety because that seems to be one of your favorite pastimes, you know, ex-friend, in 2022, you know that myself and a few other people that cared about you at the time had to have a conversation with you about Adderall, because in 2022, at the height of when they were pushing Adderall to everyone, you got Adderall and so did Dustin. There's a difference. Only one of you is actually using it in the responsible way. You have said numerous times in front of people, because Dustin was actually prescribed 5 milligrams, you were prescribed 30 because that's what you asked for. You have told numerous people and actually made a joke about it, about sometimes that you take 60 milligrams. Do you know what they say Adderall is the legal version of for people that actually abuse it and take way too much of it at one time? They say it's the legal version of meth. So I'm not exactly sure as to why you're trying to point a finger at me when you've told numerous people that you take 60 milligrams of that sometimes, but you have also followed up that statement with the fact that you take Xanax at night. There's a word for that when it comes to other kinds of drugs, and that's called speedballing. But also I find it very interesting that the one here that has had a substance abuse issue in the past, that has literally had the shittiest hand of the stick over the past few years. We had COVID. We had my mom dying from COVID. Had to sell the house, moved to Texas, house burned down, lost my mom's cats, and then have to deal with all of this bullshit and you allowing your man to go onto Reddit and social media and try to tell people that I was doing hard drugs. There was an account on Twitter as Dustin and I were still driving to Florida that was literally trying to say all of this stuff about me doing meth. They were trying to say that there were cameras in the bathroom. I originally requested the cameras be in the bathroom so I would be held accountable if I ever snorted some drugs. Does that make any sense to anyone? Because it clearly fucking doesn't. So there was this fake account that was started over on Twitter that was trying to tell people that I was doing drugs inside of the house, that I put cameras in the bathroom because I wanted to be caught, because I wanted to be held accountable, and that our ex-friend caught me doing these drugs so many times. Our ex-friend was tagged so many times in a thread with that person. She waited hours to come online and tell people that that person was lying. Can't imagine why. Could it be that I peed in a cup and called your bluff? She literally put a tweet out saying that that person was lying about me just to go behind the scenes and tell Rosalie that the bedroom smelled like meth. Allude to Peter, what do you know about dabs? On top of all the other people that she's behind the scenes trying to say that I'm doing these hard drugs. My point in all this is not one time since 2019 when I had my incident and I relapsed have I ever even thought to touch anything except for marijuana and shrooms occasionally. I mean, they're from the earth, right? So let's move on to the next thing that our ex-friend was trying to allude to on the phone with Peter, but also on the phone with other drama channels and just anyone she was trying to lie to on that day. She tried to allude to Peter, and she actually tried to get him to ask the question of, oh, you think this is what's happening? She tried to allude to the fact that she was worried about Dustin and Dustin's safety and that he was being abused by me. So you were trying to paint it as I relapsed, so that's why I was acting the way that I was, and that's the reason that I wanted to get out of town because, oh my God, I've been caught. But you were also alluding to the fact that I was abusing Dustin. What a nasty, vile thing to ever come out of your goddamn mouth, because you know that Dustin got out of an abusive 13-year relationship because you were there when we all helped him grab his shit and get out of that house. So the fact that you would ever utter out of your goddamn mouth that I would be abusive to him in any way, how fucking dare you when your friends were concerned for your safety and your friends only wanted the best for you? I find it very fucking funny that you would ever utter the words that you think someone is abusing anyone when you are the one that we had to have a conversation with about Adderall rage because your personality started to change because of it, and you didn't believe us, and you tried to turn it into a joke of, oh, that person's gonna get my Adderall rage. You have raised your voice and tried to get so many people at restaurants fired. Do you want to talk about Muya, the burger restaurant, when the employee was telling you, ma'am, we cannot cook the burger that way, and you literally said you were gonna get him fired because you thought he was lying to you? Because in California, you're in Texas. You want to try to paint that I'm abusive to Dustin? Let's talk about you, because you're the one that has a history of saying that you want to beat the shit out of people, because you know during all this, when you were having a conversation in private trying to manipulate Dustin and get him on your side and turn him against me, you know that you said that you wanted to punch our friend, but at that time your employee in the face. If you want to talk about me being abusive, let's talk about how you tried to go online and get Van Luke on your side, somebody that you actually don't like. And in August of this year, you literally said that you wanted to beat the shit out of her in text message because she was butting into people's business. You have a history of saying violent things. So if you want to talk about somebody being abusive, you should look in a mirror a lot about this situation, because everything that you're trying to throw at people and trying to have stick about them is exactly what the you are. You want to talk about abusive and crossing boundaries? Let's talk about 2022 real quick. Dustin has not said shit online about the relationship that he was in for 13 years. He has tried to keep it offline as much as possible because of how abusive of a situation that it was. Something that you know. So what did you do in 2022? You decided to pick a fight on Twitter with his abuser. You decided to pick a fight so bad on Twitter that you literally bought a shirt about domestic violence, and you were going to start doing live streams to air out Dustin's abuser. I'm not going to go into too many details about that because that's Dustin's story to tell. Our ex-friend literally has tried to tell people that I am constantly looking over Dustin's shoulder to try to see who he is texting. I am not even once in this relationship picked up Dustin's phone. I don't care what is going on in Dustin's phone. I don't care who Dustin is talking to. So no, I am not looking over the shoulder. And no, I am not abusing him in the way that you would like the internet to believe. No, honestly with this, how dare you? You are so vile and disgusting. The fact that you would literally try to pick a fight online with someone's abuser because you thought that you were doing the right thing. When Dustin asked you not to do it and he asked you to please stop, you had the audacity to get mad at him. You had the audacity to try to ask me to talk to him so he would be okay with you going after the abuser. What world? You got so pissed at the fact that he didn't want you to do that when Dustin and I were sitting outside by the pool at the Airbnb, you slammed the garage door and we could literally see the window shake and sped out of the house and called your employee at the time, Vanessa, so you could vent about it and bitch about it, and you didn't understand why he would be upset. You know what? I'm done with this situation. Ex-friend, I hope that I never have to hear from you ever again. I hope that you actually start to focus on yourself and everything that's going wrong in your own life, and you start to fix that for yourself, because the road that you're going down with all these lies back and forth, the way that you're making your employees probably watch this video now when it's not in their job description, the way that you are literally obsessing over the situation, thinking that people are trying to destroy you when all we ever wanted is for you to leave us the fuck alone. And that doesn't mean only online. That means behind the scenes. Stop calling people and stop lying to them, because every time that you lie to them, it gets back to us. It's getting ridiculous, and honestly, it's beginning to look like an obsession. Every single person that you talked to since September, every time that they talk to you, they say that you sound manic. You have literally told people that there have been a few days that you have not slept consecutively. You need to worry about yourself. Stop worrying about us in this. We don't want anything to do with you. We are not going behind the scenes and trying to tell people horrible fucking things about you. You told us that you were someone that would never stab someone in the back, you'll stab them in the front. So why the sudden change of heart? Why all of a sudden you want to keep everything off of your social media and you just want to do it behind the scenes? Oh, that's right, because you want to be able to play the victim card. Well, your victim card has been revoked.